Yeah. Got the flight book, it's a library. I'm in that deal. Just took a flight to Bora Bora and foreign cars like foreigners. Berry on her. Up in France, bitch, bonjour. I been come to go so we going Paris tomorrow. Only Paris we carry, spin at the mall. We doing the same alone. My diamonds be saying, add some more change. That's the same alone. Dripping all the way from home and taking the wrong. Got the flight book, it's a library. We ain't flying solo. Tune in to the show. It's the Passport Bros. No excuse entertainment. Jay Slay on the show. Turn it up some more. It's the Passport Bros.
Yo, what's good? What's good? Man, salute to everybody, man. In Ethiopia right now. Let me know. Let me know if my connection is good. Let me know if the sound is good. Let me know. Let me know. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Let's see. Had a comment in. Black Label Expat was good. So yeah, it's gonna be a minute before J Focus come up. Little miscommunication on my behalf. So in the US it should be, what time should it be in the US? It's about 2 o'clock on the East Coast. 2 o'clock on the East Coast. Yeah, if anybody can give me confirmation, man, on the audio and connection. Susie Q. Hello. Doing good. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Audio good, 0 to hero. Appreciate that, man. So here we go. Let me delete these weird comments, man. Do you have this cord or this cord? I don't know. Getting these bots in the chat, man. I'm just gonna have to moderate the best I can. But yeah, I want to talk about Africa. I want to talk about Africa and talk about just kind of, what I'm seeing, from the past to now. And then also, yeah, you can see on chat now. Then also, Jay Focus, he's in Africa too. He's been doing a lot of traveling. He's been doing a lot of traveling. So, I don't even know. Are you guys boys? What does that mean? That's kind of weird question. Yeah, if you got any questions, you could definitely put questions in the chat. I'll do my best to answer any questions in the chat. So, but yeah, currently in Ethiopia, was in Uganda, and Uganda was, like I said, I think I said maybe to somebody else, but yeah, Uganda. That was probably my best Ugandan trip out of the six. You know, so what is this? People be, I want to ban this stuff. He said, "Did you find diamonds? What is these kind of questions, man?" Yeah, if y'all got any questions, put them in the chat, man. I got these weird I got these weird messages coming in. So distracted me a little bit, but yeah, Uganda was cool. Um Myself, I've been just looking at like, places that I could see myself living long term in Africa. And I say out of the 6 countries that I've been in Africa, I would probably say there's only 3 of them left that I would kind of consider like living. Um, a lot of them I would still visit. So I know a lot of times when we talk about traveling these countries, um, we don't really make the distinction between, these are countries more suited for visiting or these countries are more suited for living. And most guys probably are not in position or will be in position to live in other countries, but um, you know, it's good to kind of have info or kind of an idea on both. What I mean, just in case you decide that you want to look for, let's say, a wife or something like that. And sometimes if you are considering a foreign wife, you may have to consider living in her country, what I mean, opposed to her living in the US. So, those are things that we have to consider. But for me, um, South Africa, for example, one of the 6 countries I've been to, South Africa is not a country that, I would want to live in. Salute to you, Tanzania, Tony. South Africa wouldn't be a country that I would live in, but it's definitely be a country that I would visit. Um, Tanzania, definitely a country that I would visit. Not a country for me that I would live in. Uganda, same there. Not a country that I would live in due to more of the cost of housing in Uganda, but definitely a country I will continue to visit. So right now, country that I vetting to live in now would be like is Rwanda, Kenya, and Ethiopia. And really just particular cities. When I say Kenya, I'm going to say Nairobi, Rwanda. I'm talking about Kigali, and Ethiopia, a city called Hawassa. KEIRL, he said, I'm in Ethiopia now. Okay. I'm in Ethiopia too, man. And it's so many beautiful tins. I've been in Ethiopia all month and never had one power outage. I've been eating my same food I eat in the US. My girl was what she say? A V, and she runs my business. Come to Ethiopia. Yeah, I'm in this small town called Bishoftu. I'll be in Addis actually tomorrow. So if you around, man, or what I mean, I would love to link because I ain't got nobody to uh to go out with if you go out. But yeah, I'll be in Addis tomorrow. I'll be in Addis tomorrow afternoon, and I'll be there for a day, and then I'll be traveling to a different city in Ethiopia. Yeah, I'm already in Ethiopia. He said, "Why not South Africa?" South Africa because the mentality, the women are there are very attractive women there, but they're just so different in a way they just think. I mean, they're just too off code when it comes to political issues, when it comes to a lot of stuff. Like their ways of feminism is different than American ways of women views of feminism. Like they're just so different. Like, so it's just mentally, I just can't deal with South African women. I mean, obviously, sexually, you know what I mean? Um, you know, but I would say this. I had thought about this too. Like some of the coolest African dudes I've met have been South African dudes. That's one thing I could say. Like, I've seen like a lot of ass kissing Africans, and I'm not trying to be divisive, but a lot of, especially a lot of these other African countries, they be kissing. I'm just gonna say this: they be kissing ass of certain countries in Africa, but South Africa, they don't kiss nobody ass. And I like that about South African. That's at least about South Africans. But yeah, it's just too American. It's just too much like the Matrix. That's why not South Africa. Tanzania, Tony said it can be rough living in Tanzania sometimes. Yeah, yeah. For me, it's more like, I mean, they do have some mild weather cities, but like Dar is like the best city. You know what I mean? I'm not a fan of hot cities no more, but um, the infrastructure too, and the shit that went down in elections that didn't help either. He said, "Okay, let's link up, bro. I know other spots. I can find you a place and a driver. Okay, I got a driver. I got some of the. I want to go to what is that shit called? Luna. I want to go to a couple clubs. So let me know how we can tap in. I mean, either you could hit me up on IG, or maybe if I could drop the link, you could leave your info in a private chat or something like that. Um, I could do that real quick. I could drop the link just in case you want to put in the back chat. Let's see where we at. Jay Gunn said I was intoxicated. He said I agreed to that. What happened to the chick with the forehead, five head? She in Uganda, man. She in Uganda. So I don't know if you've seen the chick I was with my last day. You know what I mean? The chick I was with my last day, she just more she was a vibe. She was a vibe. You know what I mean? She was more attractive. Uh our chemistry was just on fire. Um but yeah, I got content that I'm gonna try to get quick edit and upload this week. Michael Jordan said feminism is not real. Okay. He said, yes, bro. The South African dudes was cool as fuck. They straight up too. The Zulu dudes cool as well. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Salute to my South African bros, man. They get called the same. They women call them the same thing as Black American women call us. They call South African men cheap, stingy. I said you know, they don't be trying to be reckless with money like some people. There is YT genocide in South Africa not good. Okay. All right. I'm gonna check it. Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean that's not good if that's happening. Let's see. Who is this backstage? Let me see your face, whoever backstage, before I bring you up. Especially since I got bots in the chat. Backstage. Can you cam on? Then you can turn it off. All right. I'll wait for you to do that. Let me continue reading. If my standard changes since coming back from South Africa, most American women barely look thick to me. Yeah. Now Houston is a problem. I will say that Houston is a problem. He said if you stay in Bolay, you won't go through any culture shocks. Yeah, yeah. I usually stay in Bolay. I finally found the hotel that got central heating, man, because my only reason I don't like Addis is because it gets cold at night. Uh, yeah, but yeah, I think South Africa, TZ, and Uganda. But yeah, so I'll be hitting up Rwanda. I'll be hitting up Rwanda soon. That'll be like that'll be the fourth time. That'll be the fourth time. You know, so and then we'll see what that look like. They got some they got some property developments in Rwanda that got decent prices on. So I'm gonna check them. I'm gonna check out some of their model apartments. So if Rwanda, they do got some, it is expensive. They do got some expensive, but then I do see some affordability stuff too. So I'm gonna see what Rwanda hitting for. I already know Kenya. I already know Kenya is very affordable. I just gotta kind of there's some other things I'm gonna look at while I'm there. He said, "Does Ethiopian women only have faces?" Um, for the most part, I mean, yeah, most people, anybody that been to Ethiopia and other countries, I mean, as much as people be online and saying, "Oh, Ethiopian women are the finest," and this and that, and they do got some attractive women. But yeah, bodies they can't compete with a lot. Now, I kind of know the reason why. Whoever's backstage, if you could show your face and then you could uncam, but I need to see who you are before I bring you up. Give you a few seconds to turn your camera on, turn your camera off. I see an Ethiopian flag as a name. Hold on, let me see who this is. Somebody sent a private chat. I just hit you up about Ethiopia. Where? Where did you hit me up? Recently? Oh, okay, okay, okay. I got you. I got you. Let me bring you up.
Hey, what's up, bro?
Oh, what's good? What's good, man?
Yeah, yeah. Yo, so out of them three options, I think Ethiopia is probably the best one. I'm not even gonna lie to you, cause you may not even go through no culture shocks if you pretty much like in a Bole area, and I would say like Bole Rwanda, Bole Atlas, um Bole Brass. It's different Boles, you know.
Mm,
And if you in that area, you're good. Like you're good. You won't go through no culture shocks. You won't have to worry about that many dogs. You won't have to worry about um you won't have to worry about like getting like a issues or anything like that. You get what I'm saying? Like food
yeah.
poisoning. It's a soft landing. And I was
Let
I
me.
was I was like preparing for this for like at least like a year. So I think I was like preparing too much actually. I should have just came. But bro,
Hold.
it is like sweet out here, bro. Like sweet. And if you like, all right, so if you want one bedroom in a Bole area, it's gonna run you like I'm not gonna lie. Like if you want a nice one bedroom, it's gonna run you like 500 a month. It's gonna run you like
Yeah,
500 a month.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Let me answer this one. Let me finish answering this one question, and then I'm gonna circle back to you.
Uh
Because for this question about the aesthetics. Now, what I noticed is that, and this lady Zed, this lady Zed highlighted it too. You know what I mean? When women leave Ethiopia, they tend to start looking better. You know what I mean? The diet changes. They kind of curve out a little bit better. Um, they skin kind of looks a little more healthier because Ethiopia, living in Ethiopia is hard on a lot of people. You know.
Let me tell you what
And
it is. Let me tell you what it is, cause I'm telling you I live here. So what it is
okay,
that all right. So it's not for all. We can't just categorize them, right? But what
yeah,
happens is, if you walk around here, like just walk, cause I like walking a lot. You'll see that
mm,
it's a lot of like dust in the air sometimes, or
yeah,
like the
yeah,
cars may. It's like a lot of air. It's not a lot of air pollution, cause if you get used to it. You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
Um, and they're higher up, which means it's less oxygen. You get what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right,
So that's
right.
like if you hold your arm right now, you'll see how it's less if less oxygen go to your arm or blood, you'll see how it looks a little different. I don't want to get too deep into that. But anyway, they're higher up. It's a little more air pollution. Where we're at, like for example, I'm from the DMV area. The air is you're like closer to sea level. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that air
yeah.
is
Hold
more
on.
like moist. You get what I'm saying? Then
Yeah,
far as that,
yeah.
they eat more injure here. So injure is really healthy, but it's harder to digest for some of them. Like my girl, you know.
Hold your thoughts. Let me finish. Let me finish my thoughts real quick. But you brought up some good points. Um, the elevation does, I guess the elevation does play a part. Like even in like countries like Bogota, anybody been to
Yeah.
Bogota, it's a higher elevated city, it's colder, and a lot of the people in Bogota, they got bad skin pigmentation. Like they don't have because they don't get enough
Yeah. I
sunlight.
started getting like for example, myself, like my sometimes like I find myself washing my face more often, cause like your face will be like not itchy, but it'll just be like it'll just feel like cause it's not humid here. It'll just feel like you got debris and stuff on your face. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, let
Yeah.
me read this. Let me read this quote where he said, "What are there real baddies in Africa, or are they all going working in the top tourist destinations in the world?" Now, there are real baddies in Africa, but the difference between like Colombia, Brazil, and Africa is that it's so many baddies in Brazil and Colombia that you're gonna see baddies working at McDonald's. You're gonna see baddies. It's just an overflow. Like, can't no, it's not enough men to take away all the baddies. Like, but in Africa, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's enough men that can take away the baddies, and then all that's left is averages. So there is baddies in Africa, but you know what I mean? It's just more money. It's just more money out there. You know what I mean? For them to get to. You know what I mean? Um, hold on, did I add you? That's the thing. Gerard in the building. He said, "Glad to see you back in the league." Addis. Um, Super Green said, "What's your thoughts on Rhonda, specifically dating, infrastructure, and food?" Um, one of the first things that you got to know about Rhonda is there is gonna be um. You got to echo, hubby. Hold on.
Oh my bad. I'm gonna put it on mute.
All right. Yeah, there's gonna be a language barrier because they don't speak a lot. A lot of them don't speak English or not. Fluent English. So there might be some language barrier there. That kind of affects dating because a lot of women might be uncomfortable because they feel like y'all can't communicate. Infrastructure is great. Food. I mean, they got some decent food options. I mean, it's not like I wouldn't regard it as like a food destination. You know what I mean? But they got some decent spots. They got some decent spots. Not as much as much as maybe like Kenya or even Tanzania, but Rwanda got some decent spots. Zero the Hero said, "Do you plan on buying a property where you want to live?" Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't. I would want to own a property, in places I would want to live. Uganda is a place that I would, would want to live, but the property values, the property values is too high, and I believe that is just above market value. It's just not beneficial. It's just not beneficial to me financially to spend that type of money for a lot of reasons. So, but yeah, whether it's Kenya, Rwanda, or if something was in Ethiopia, I would definitely be open to you know, a condo. That's the closest thing because owning land, you know, Kenya is a special case. You could own land leasehold and still make money off of it. That's a special case, but the jury is still out. He says surfing lives right now. What universe am I in? You in a passport, bro, universe. Wanton said, what has better food in your opinion, Africa or Central or South American countries? I would say, I mean, you can't exclude Thailand. If I had to choose on a world stage, the best food arguably is Thai food, Indian food. You know, Thai food and Indian food is like dominating like the world stage. Now, from Africa to like South America, crave. I like there's some Colombian dishes I do like. Um, you know, I'm part-time vegan, so Colombia would be great for like a vegan diet. Um, they have pretty good dishes. Um, I mean, Africa, craving for food like that. Yeah, it's kind of like a toss up, man. To be honest with you, it's kind of a toss up. South Africa got good international cuisine, so I know when I go to South Africa, I'm gonna eat good. I know when I go to Tanzania, I'm gonna eat good. I don't really say that much. I really don't say that too much about other countries in Africa when it comes to food. So, um, but yeah, KE, he said Jamaican food. Yeah, Jamaican food is bomb too, but it's not really, you're not gonna find a lot of Jamaican cuisine like worldwide, you know. You're gonna find you'll find Indian food worldwide. Thai food kind of hit or miss, but Indian food probably reaches the most country. But yeah, Jamaican food is definitely bomb. Definitely bomb. Now, while I'm in Ethiopia, I kind of share some thoughts on Ethiopia and KEU, you as
Yeah, yeah.
well.
So I wanted to say one thing. So
Go
far
ahead.
as like I feel like Ethiopia is its own world. First of all, they wasn't colonized. So you're not
Hmm.
gonna deal with like like let's say if you was to go to West Africa or
Hmm.
like you would deal with you would guys would have like a shared well, not a shared trauma, but if you don't want to talk about that slavery shit or none of that, or you don't want to deal with none of that type of mentality, I would
Hmm.
say East Africa because they was not involved with none of that. That's first and foremost. So that mentality is just different.
Hmm.
Um, and not only that, they're prideful of their own culture. They're really not trying to be like us. It's like their own. They got their own alphabet. They got their own everything. And I would say if y'all want a more soft landing, they got earphones now that convert languages in real time. You get what I'm saying? So that can help you guys adjust wherever you travel to. The properties here, bro. I don't know if you noticed. You can go to Fetty Vlogs. She's like a top vlogger in Ethiopia. And
Uh-huh.
anybody that does research on Ethiopia, they know about Fetty. But anyway, she showed a luxury apartment like 3 days ago. It was 5 million, bro. I'm gonna overestimate and say it's $40,000. You get what I'm saying? That's for
This
a nice penthouse.
this is an
That's that.
Addis.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna say it's really like 30 to 40,000. But imagine if we're paying 2,000 rent in the U.S. If you save up for a year, you can buy a whole condo or something. Here. You get what I'm saying?
I'm gonna
So
have to
I
you
think
gonna
people
have to show
sleep
me
on
that.
that. I think people be sleeping on Ethiopia for real, for real. And like no, you're not gonna find moral people like they are. Like they very moral. Like they really believe in, like, you could tell when people like bullshitting about what they believe in. They really believe in God. You get what I'm saying?
I mean, some do. I mean, Addis is kind of diverse though, man. I mean,
Bro, I've been to
they got a
Addis,
re-
yo. Addis is tough too, bro. Y'all sleeping on Addis. It's a lot of places here. It's Jamaican food here. It's a lot of food here. If you don't believe me, go on TikTok and look at like food places. That's how you find the modern food places. Just go on TikTok and type in Addis food. Bruh, they even make the injera different in different places. Like if you don't want the local injera,
mm,
in America they add flour in their injera, right? So it can taste a little bit less bitter. Bro, you
mm.
go to this restaurant called Washington. They got it. They got they got a few restaurants. I went over 30 different restaurants. I still can go to more restaurants. That's what I'm saying. I'm confused about what y'all be saying about Ethiopia. You know?
Well, I will say that even though they do have some people with morals, they do got a ratchet side too. Like they act like niggas too. Like
But
I
it's
see,
like where you hang at. Like for me, for example, I'm not a club person. You heard me in the comments. I said I had a girl. You get what I'm saying? So I just
yeah.
do a lot of fun shit with her, or I'm just trying to like figure out some business plans. You get what I'm saying? But but yeah, if you in a club, you gonna meet them type of people. You gonna meet them. You know, you gonna meet the type of people that's gonna
So so where you meet your how you meet
The
your
crazy
girl?
part is I met her online on TikTok because somebody was trying to sell a couch on there, and I was just in the comments asking questions about a couch, and somebody inboxed me like a day later. So I was like, "What the hell?" But she didn't have no
Mm,
pictures, no nothing. So then I asked for her WhatsApp, and she called me on video. I was like, "Damn." So from there I was just getting to know her and shit, and she was just cool, you know and
mm.
she lived in Addis her whole life, and she ain't have no previous relationship, no previous partners, anything. That's what I'm saying, is people in Addis that really is what can I say, they don't have no previous history or
So
anything like that. You
that's
get what
where
I'm
you at
saying?
now?
Yeah, yeah. They
Okay.
but these people, like, they're serious, yo. You can't, like, I would say only come here if you like a one person, one girl type of man. You get what I'm saying? Because what happened is my girl, she met me at the airport, and I haven't even got a second without her. Even the gym, my businesses, everything. She just like on it. I can't even tell her that I need space. You get what I'm saying? And she
Hold
don't
on.
want to come back to the U.S. That's another thing. She want
Hold
to go
on.
to like the Caribbean. That's it. That's the furthest she want to go to America. You get what I'm saying?
Ho- let me just kind of give my kind of take on this
All right, I'm gonna mute
current
it.
trip. If you, all right, yeah. So this probably my fifth or sixth time in Ethiopia. Um, I will say that there's a lot of gatekeeping in they call it is a lot of gatekeeping. I'm a person like when I try to like learn about the culture, like I try to, get context from people. I try to ask questions. And I text this one girl, somebody sent me like a friend of a friend, and I asked this one girl a question. I'm like, can I ask you a question? She was like, sure. And I asked a question, and she just like got silent. It was like some of the more basic questions, like a lot of them treat you like, or they respond like you the police, like you the police or something, like you. It's like, damn, people want to learn about this culture that it's kind of been. uh tucked away from like the world, and I people are curious about this culture, this country, and so it is a little, for me it has been a struggle trying to get information that's important to me, because some people are weary of foreigners. um you know I will say, on a positive note though, it has been a lot of men that have kind of put out there, like, I know women, I know marriageable women, I can send you the picture, or I can send you that. So, opposed to a lot of like some of like dudes that be like kind of hating to see other black men come to Ethiopia, and they try to make it seem like they don't want you there, or this or that. But a lot of men, especially older men, they see that, they see how I carry myself, and a lot of them, they want, they feel like there's good women that should be married, and they kind of throw it out there, like, if you're looking for a wife, or good girl, whatever the case may be. A lot of men have have said that to me, which was like, okay, which is a positive, which is a good thing. So don't kind of believe what people outside of Ethiopia try to paint this picture, like, you're not welcome or anything like that, because it's a marriage culture. Um just like Uganda is a marriage culture, Tanzania is a marriage culture. So marriage cultures, people do like to hook people up with people that they feel like are both marriage minded. So that's one positive thing about Ethiopia. Um, for meeting the other thing that makes it challenging, that is, there's malls, and there are little pocket malls and areas where you could probably, places where you'll typically could run, meet women just out and about. Um, but like outside of Addis, like some of these smaller cities, like they don't have malls. Um, Usually, women typically aren't walking alone. They're usually in two or more, and they kind of be on a go. You know what I mean? They walk fast. They here to there. So like try to cold approach a woman on the street might might be kind of awkward for them. Um, so and then there's not places where people are just kind of sitting, chilling, and you could kind of like let's say cold approach like that. Um, Even like the church, Orthodox church, it's not like church in America where you might see somebody attracted to at church, at a regular church in the US, and after church, you might have an opportunity to like bump into her and speak or something like that. But like in Ethiopia, like the churches be so packed, and then you can't really see what the chick look like, because in the Orthodox church, women, they're covered, their head is covered, and most of their body is kind of covered. So you really it's really hard to like even check a woman out. And then women are on the right side, men are on the left side, and so even trying to meet a woman in that environment is kind of challenging, because you can't really see them, and then it's so many people. You turn your head one moment, you might not even find her again. So it's a lot of nuances, what I mean, that kind of affect code approaching in Ethiopia. But yeah, I don't know. You got a girl case, so
Oh,
you
can I
probably didn't
add to
have.
this? You've
Go
been
ahead, go
saying
ahead.
some really good stuff. So, bro, you right. So they gonna cover themselves up because that's their culture. And when they go to church, they gonna have this white thing over their head. And pretty much like in Ethiopia, I feel like everybody's just think about it, bro. Like 80% of all of these people is beautiful. So you shouldn't even go off looks like that. You should go off like what woman is pretty much attracted to you. So it's so many women that you just doing your thing. Like let's say if you come here and vlog or you come here and do whatever. they're gonna message you online, or let's say when you walking, they're gonna stop you. They're if you're like reserved like them, what happens is eventually y'all gonna run into each other, right? And then you guys, you just gotta know that basic language, yo. Like for example, hello is salam, or good moon, or like let's say if you want to say, um, let's say if you want to say, how are you? You say Indene or Indenesh, right?
Mm,
And then, or you could just add that salam Indene or Indenesh, and then pretty much you could just say like, oh, they like this stuff. If you say Gersha, like they know that means, oh, you want to go out, you want to have a meal together. You get what I'm saying? Or like you just gotta know like their basic language because they really love their culture. So if you just know like their basic language, you're good. And they love Americans. Like even when you're just walking and the little kids run up to you, which that rarely happens to me. Like I don't know if I because I look like them
mm,
or how I carry myself, but that rarely happens. But
mm,
the little kids, when you talk to them and you speak English, they can barely stop laughing and smiling, um, and basically, if you just learn how to count, like basic, like let's say the 20, like
mm.
and hulat, sost, arat, ames, sedes, like these numbers and stuff. If you just learn that, you'll learn how to negotiate. You get what I'm saying? Because pretty much you can ask like how much. You're like cent new, that means how much. Just learning basic stuff and then getting them earphones that I said you'll hear when people talk and what sound they made and what that meant in English instantly. You get what I'm saying? But like,
Yeah.
bro, it's so many women here, bro. If you cannot run into one, why? Like, literally, she will run into you, literally, because it's so many here. I'm walking with my girl, and I'm thinking like, damn, I didn't cashed out too early, right? And I'm just getting like, kind of like, I was second question, but like, I can't. I was like, damn, I already just, I got to commit to my girl because she was pure, and I can't like hurt her. You get what I'm saying? But anyway, bro, it's so many that if you can't just be a normal person, like they gonna learn English because they love America or they already know some. So why can't you learn like 10 to 20 words? You get what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
the men
yeah. I
here is
mean,
accommodating, bro. I have the same driver pick me up from the airport, drove me all around. You get what I'm saying? Like he wait outside my door, like literally until like let's say when I'm waking up, he'll literally be at my door at like 9 a.m. You get what I'm saying? So for the
yeah,
price of you'll pay for a rental car, you get a driver, they'll pretty much be there. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. So, and it's just like everybody, like it's pretty much like the men are accommodating, but they have a conservative culture. So the women know how to carry themselves. You get what I'm saying? But the
yeah,
people that the noise y'all pay attention to, like the negative stuff, that's from like the diaspora, the people in like America, that the Ethiopians in America that's talking. You get what I'm saying? Because the Ethiopians here, they not really worried about the outside world like that, unless they trying to get out of here. You get what I'm saying? But
yeah.
like they love their culture, bro. They not really focused on Americans or anybody. But if they run into you, they know what a Black American is.
Hey,
You get what
but
I'm saying?
I will say this because I gotta highlight the negative. I gotta highlight the positives and negatives. You know, what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
at least what I experienced. Um, me personally, out of all the me personally, the women, Addis is the biggest city, so I haven't met all of them, and I haven't met every woman, but um, I've seen a lot of red flags, women from Addis. You see a lot of women that they on Tinder selling box. You see women that they'll ask you for money quickly. Like I thought I like, met like a sweet, innocent girl, right? I actually got her off of IG, and we met up, cordial, cool. Talked about how strict her parents is and she don't do this and that. And then she hit me with the next day, like, can you send me what's 4,000 bird? Like basically like $20 because I wanna for whatever reason. I was just like, that's bold as hell. You know what I mean? I was like, that's bold as hell. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't asked you for no sex, And she not the first girl like that out of addicts either ask or insinuate about money. Um and yeah, a lot of girls on Tinder, they're not direct with it, but they'll say like, what you looking for, and you ask them and they'll say money, fun, money. So you're gonna see a lot of an addict. Then you'll see a lot of women that are orthodox, and they not represent. I'm not saying that uh nobody's gonna be perfect in their religion, even myself, you know what I mean? But um don't let women and addicts aren't gonna live up to the positive stereotype as other women outside of Addis. You know what I mean? But Addis is one of the largest cities in Africa, so there's gonna be some good girls mixed with some bad girls and vice versa. So you just gotta be careful with that. Um Also, I know a lot of guys that been in Ethiopia, they kind of curious on like level of attractiveness and what they see in the US or what they see in the UK or other parts of the world. Um, Ethiopia has a lot of different tribes. Um, I will say that a lot of the aesthetic of like Ethiopian women, a lot of dudes tend to be attracted to, tend to be the aesthetic of the more Somali look. And so uh the Somali is a tribe. It's a country too. Somali is a tribe, but the Somali tribe also extends into parts of Ethiopia and Kenya. So there's a region in Ethiopia called the Somali region. They are Ethiopians, but they are of the Somali tribe as well. So if guys ever go to the Somali region in Ethiopia, you're gonna see you're definitely gonna see baddies, you know what I mean? But that's gonna be majority Muslim region. Uh Probably not a lot of English out there. I don't I don't think I've known any black content creators that been to the Somali region. I would like to go, maybe if I had somebody to come with me, but yeah, that's in my opinion, that's where the baddest Ethiopian is gonna be in the Somali region of Ethiopia.
Bro, if you just walk, like, go to like Wello Sefer, like it's like a little mall right there on the corner, and just walk towards like Bole Rwanda. You get what I'm saying? You'll see,
Hmm.
like, you don't have to, like, bro. Mm-mm-mm. Like, I think we making this too hard. You get what I'm saying? Like, and in Addis, they don't even go. Like, my girls told me don't ever bring up tribes here. You get what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
they
yeah.
don't really go up tribes in Addis. You get what I'm saying? Like, she told me that they know what tribe they is, but they don't talk about it. You get what I'm saying?
Right, right, right.
Yeah. So, bro, it's just an abundance, bro. And here it's just everything happens natural. You get what I'm saying? The girl probably not even like, yo. I just asked the girl three questions and I know what type of girl she is. You get what I'm saying? So if she don't meet one of them like requirements, I know, okay, this is not a wife, and I know that from the jump. Even if before I ask that question, where I meet him at. You get what I'm saying? It shows.
Yeah.
So yeah, bro. Like I said, tomorrow just go to Bole, Rwanda. I mean, go to Wello Sefer and then walk directly towards the airport. You'll see. You'll see.
No, I'll be all up in those areas, man. I've seen by Skylight Hotel. I do a
Yeah,
lot of walking
yeah.
when I'm out
Okay.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, you know about all of that stuff. So, yeah, like I don't know. Most of them, like, all right, I ain't gonna lie. Before I met my girl, I met a few girls here, and I would say like 7 out of 10 of them never had a relationship before, ever.
Mm.
That's what they like. That's I can tell you that, bro. I'm not capping. Like I said, I don't have no roots in Africa. I'm an American, 100%. So I'm just telling. I might not even visit another African country unless it's like a vacation type vibes, like Mauritius or Seychelles. That's
So
how I
you
feel
said
about
you,
Ethiopia.
so you've been there how long?
I've been here going on 2 months now.
2 months.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. No power outages. Nothing. None of that stuff. And it's a lot of American restaurants. It's a few Italian restaurants. You get what I'm saying? And a little hack, because I know people deal with elevation sickness. If you drink like the little drip drop packets and then drink beet juice before you come, that'll pretty much like I'm just not a health claim, but that just help your oxygen intake. You get what I'm saying? And all of that when you on a high elevation. But that'll
Mm.
help people like that. But yeah, bro, this it's tough here, bro. And in 10 years, this shit gonna look crazy because I know you see all the buildings around you that's getting built up. You
Yeah,
know?
I don't want no parts of Addis, man, because it's gonna be very international. I'm gonna stay in the low key.
Oh
The,
yeah,
lo-
yep. I know where you said you was at. You talking about Payasa or something like that? That area?
Hawassa?
Yeah, I think that's the one. It start with a P though.
No, not any places in Ethiopia. Start with a
Oh
P.
okay.
Mm-mm.
No, yeah. I'll find the name and I'll text it. But it's like the second city to Addis. You get what I'm saying? I know if it's any Ethiopians in the comments, they'll comment. But bruh, I'm trying to tell you, and the weather is perfect to where as though it don't get too hot, it don't get too cold.
I don't like
You
Addis.
know,
I don't like Addis weather though. Not I don't like it. I
it's like
don't like it.
California weather.
No, to me it's just kind of like it's dry. It's like I said, it gets a little chilly at night.
Yeah,
Um,
you're right about that. You're right about that. I just lived in the Caribbean before this, and
you know,
that's my favorite type of weather in the Caribbean. But
I mean it's not. I mean no, that is not bad, but it's just not for me. Like I like weather like Medellin, Colombia. You
yeah,
know, I
yeah,
like
yep. I know you would. You're American, so I know you would like that.
yeah.
Yeah, bro. Um, yeah, yo, it's cool here, bro. Just, I mean, if on a female tip, if you want a wife, this is the place. You're not gonna find nothing like this in the whole world. You get what I'm saying? If you want to waste time, then go to other places. But if you want to just get straight to the point, and you'll see when you meet a wife, she not gonna ask you for money. She gonna be talking about family stuff. She gonna be talking about like kids and marriage. You get what I'm saying? But you just gotta
Yeah.
like not test her, but like act. Don't be stupid, but just like I don't know how to explain it without being too like giving too much advice. But yo, she would be pressing you like it'll be a green light. Like you know what a green light is,
They going I
you
mean,
know?
I feel like a lot of chicks, at least in Ethiopia, like the ones that wasn't good for me, they canceled themselves. Like I didn't, you know what I mean, they let their mouth, you know what I mean, they showed their true colors. Like they wasn't too good at what's the word? You know, being a chameleon. Like other chicks I done seen in other countries, like
Yeah.
they can play a you know, they can put on a facade for a minute, but um a lot of these chicks you could kind of snuff out real quick if they real or not, you know.
Yep, you can, cause it's so you can even tell by what they wear. If they not wearing like traditional clothes or at least covering themselves, then these are the ones that. I'm not categorizing them, right? But I'm saying you can tell like which ones are more like what is it? It's not conservative, liberal. You can tell which ones are more liberal,
Yeah,
you
you
know,
could yeah, you can tell.
because it's that
Uh
much more solid ones here. It stick out like a sore thumb.
yeah. Money is going to let you know if a chick is somebody you want to mess with or not. You know what I mean? Like how they if the conversation of money come up and depending on how they respond, because I done met some solid girls, but like, their expectations um were kind of off when it came to certain things with money. So and
Yeah.
a lot of times they don't put
Like a
that
job
same
or something.
expectation on. Huh?
I said most of them, like if you have a business and they like need, like, let's say if they good at creating PDFs or spreadsheets or customer service, you get what I'm saying? They might just need a job. You get what I'm saying? But they solid. Like I'm telling you, their morals is solid. And they not like a greedy. They not greedy, bro. I'm trying to tell you. So if you find one,
Hey,
you might just she might can help you with everything you got going on.
no, facts, facts. But KE, man, I'm gonna put you back, man, because I got Jay Focus,
All right, all
man.
right.
That he's gonna come up, man. But I'm gonna open the panel back up. Let me bring up Jay Focus, man.
Yeah.
What's good?
What it do, man? What's happening with you?
Not much, man. What's good with you, man?
Hey, man, it's a struggle. Had some technical difficulties. It's actually a storm going on right now. I'm in an undisclosed location, but I'm gonna let you know in case like the lights go out or something. I'll still be here, but because I'm off the mobile right now, so I won't lose Wi-Fi no matter what. I shouldn't lose the Wi-Fi. But the lights might go out or something like that. But yeah, man, it's good to finally be up in here. What's happening with you, man? Where you at now?
I'm in Ethiopia, man. A city called Bishoftu.
Be sure to. All right, man. You went somewhere I haven't even been to yet, man. I've been to Hawassa, I've been to Addis, what is it? Whole bunch of different places, man. It's been a minute. Been all around the world. Had a crazy summer tour. We're in the fall now, but like summer was bananas, man. And I got content forever. When I say forever, I mean forever. If y'all go to the Patreon, patreon.com/jfocus, you got content from you name the country. You know what I'm saying? You want to see Japan? We got Japan for you. You want to see Europe? We got Europe for you. You want Africa? You know we got Africa. We always got Africa. So it's just a whole bunch of content, whole lot of traveling, and just new experiences, man.
Yeah, we're gonna get into
What
that.
about
Let me know if y'all.
oh
Let me know in the audience if y'all hear like some static. I just want to make sure it's not coming from me, but I don't hear it right now. But yeah, man. So I think the last country I know you was in, maybe like earlier this year, was like maybe like Kenya or something like that. And I know you done traveled whole lot of places, man. So run down like where you been. I would say in the last 12 months or so.
man, I know I'm gonna leave something out, but I was in Bali. I know there's a lot of buzz around Bali right now for brothers in the traveling space who, they may have been to Thailand before, they may have been to maybe even Vietnam, but they haven't seen Bali. And Bali was always on my bucket list, but every time I was out in Asia, I just never got it done. I was in Asia at the top of the year in January. I was in Thailand, and I wanted to
Mm,
go to Bali then, but it didn't happen. I had to go to Philippines. I had to go to Laos, whole bunch of different places. But then I swung back around um, just a couple months ago, and I just came from Bali. And not only Bali, I was in like the main part of Indonesia too. A lot of people forget that Bali is just a little island of the whole
mm,
Indonesia. Indonesia is huge, man. It's huge. So you got the capital, Jakarta. I got some footage from Jakarta. I got a bunch of tips and stuff so y'all don't make mistakes that I made if y'all ever go out that
okay.
way. I got some war stories, some funny stories. Got them female stories. All of that stuff is in there. Um, where else? Japan. Japan is huge. I didn't just do one city either. It wasn't just Tokyo. Like I was moving around Japan. You get to see the beaches in Japan and different vibes and different environments. I know I'm gonna forget something. North Africa, yeah, North Africa was definitely something different. I know a lot of
Mm,
brothers have like a big question mark when it comes to North Africa because everybody more or less covers the South. Those are the easy, like first African countries, U.S. style infrastructure and language. Then you got East Africa, more of the slightly traditional safaris, all that type of stuff. But then like North Africa, some dudes go to Egypt, but the whole other side of North Africa, Tunisia, Morocco, people like draw a blank when it comes to those places. So I have perspective on those places now. And Cape Verde, my Cape Verde content blew up last year when I went. I don't know if you guys caught the series, but I did like 4 videos. All of them got really good views. We had to bring it back. So we ran Cape Verde a second time. We got to see a different island. So now I have a broader perspective on Cape Verde. All of that is going to be on the channel. Most of it on the Patreon. You'll get little snippets. I'm gonna give y'all little peeks and stuff on the YouTube, but for the most part, the algorithm is like really doing a brother dirty. If y'all seen like my old views to now, so I'm just like, man, all the real stuff is going on Patreon. Y'all know we could talk like grown-ups over there.
Okay, okay. Let me ask you a question real quick. Are you on a like Android or iPhone right now?
This is actually on my Mac. This is on the MacBook right now.
Are
Yeah,
you on a
I
MacBook?
didn't do it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, is it bad? Is the quality like not right or what?
No, because I hear static. I hear a little static. I
It
don't
might be the
know.
Wi-Fi or something. Um,
It's usually a speaker. It's usually a speaker
issue,
issue.
huh?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know if do you got plugins?
Nah, well, I can probably switch to the headphones, to the AirPods or whatever. Because what is it, echo or what is it
No,
doing right
it's
now?
I hear static.
It's
I
just
hear
static.
some static.
Okay,
Yeah,
let me see what
I
I
hear.
can do. Let me see what I can do about that.
You said y'all hear me both just
I
fine?
just switched it. Is it better now?
Let me see. I'm just gonna turn my volume down. Maybe I'm gonna just turn my volume down. But yeah, the comments said they hear us both fine, so we gonna roll. We
Okay,
gonna roll.
we could push. We could push. That's what's up.
Um, so yeah, I got a few questions. I know some questions in the chat too. Harvey Williams salute. He said, "Have you been to Algeria?" He said, "Had some of the best nights of my life with Algerian women."
Okay, okay. Algeria, right? With an A, Algeria.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Is that what you said?
yeah.
Nah, I haven't made it there. I was like all around Algeria, you know what I'm saying? But I never actually got to Algeria. But yeah, that's an interesting place. I haven't been there, not yet. I'm at like 90 countries right now. So we on that
Mm,
we on that road to 100. You know what I'm saying? We trying to hit that 100, knock that out the park, and then anything after that is bonus. But I do want to have that 100 next to my name, so people put some respect on it. Like, bruh's been to 100 countries. Like, I do want to get to that level. I don't know when it's gonna be. Probably next year. I mean, we got at least 5 new countries on deck for next year. So I don't know if we'll quite get to 100, but it's coming. It's coming.
oh, okay. I want to ask you about Tunisia, man, because I just seen a white guy on TikTok talking about he said he's never going back to Tunisia, and he just
What did he say happened? What happened
man,
to him in Tunisia?
he was just saying like he was just uncomfortable from the rip. He was just like a lot of people staring. He just said,
Really?
even from authorities to everywhere. He just
Wow.
said like people just weren't really friendly like that. And he just said he
Okay.
just felt he just said he just couldn't wait to leave. And so many people in the comments was like, yeah, I didn't like Tunisia. And then you seen that story with the black woman like almost
Yeah,
getting
Shorty from
kidnapped and
Baltimore.
stuff.
Yeah,
And
that was crazy. That was crazy.
a lot of
Yeah, man.
a lot of them pointed out like I don't want to go to Egypt, Morocco, or Tunisia. So, you know what I mean? So, what's your spin on like these Northern African countries? 'Cause I'm hearing a lot of negative feedback.
Yeah, so they're all different. I
Mm,
think that's kind of the most important thing to say. Like, Egypt, Morocco, Tunisia. Of course, they are all in the same region. They all have, a different phenotype than us. They don't look like Black Africans, obviously. But
mhm,
when you're on the ground, the way people relate to you and stuff is completely different in all 3 countries. And I'll give you the short version on it. So in Egypt, everybody speaks English for the most part in Egypt. The food is terrible. I'm gonna say that. You know what I mean? I could say that 2 times. The food in Egypt is terrible, but in Tunisia it was good. It was really, really good. Same thing in Morocco. Really nice food. I mean, spices, but not like fire, like too hot.
Mm-hmm.
Just seasoned very well. Everything I had in Tunisia and Morocco was really well seasoned. Egypt, I don't know what they do in the kitchen in Egypt, but it's completely
Mm-hmm.
different. So the countries like Tunisia and Morocco, they're more on the western side of North Africa. They have a French influence. So I don't know how that affects the food, the spices and everything, but they really throw
Mm-hmm.
down in the kitchen over there. Egypt, nah, it's not the same. Mentality wise, Cairo is, I believe, the biggest city in all of Africa. Correct me if
Mm-hmm.
I'm wrong. It's in the top three. It's either that or Lagos. You know what I'm saying? And maybe they go back and forth, but for sure. It's just a big, dusty, crowded, busy city. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you get big city attitudes in Egypt a little bit. It's loud, but you still got to go. You have to see the pyramids at least once in your life, because we built that. That was not the folks that are there now. If you look into history, it's not even debatable. You know what I'm saying? Those folks came thousands of years afterward. You know what I'm saying? It would be like white British people going to Australia and they found pyramids, and then like because they're dominant now and that's all we see, they're like what 95% of the population saying we built it. Like, come on now. It's the same thing
Right.
with Egypt. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you have to go for the culture, the history, the real history. We're talking about 5,000 years ago history that's still there. You could find artifacts that look just like me. You know what I'm saying? And just look just like Nas or you know, lots of Black Americans, you'll look at it and say, there's no way that the folks there now are the people who built these pyramids. Like, it's just impossible if you're there. They have the mummies preserved. You can see them with your own, eyes. You can see the hair texture, all that kind of stuff. But Morocco and Tunisia, they're quite different as far as like all the bad press about Tunisia. I cover more of that in a longer form video, but I'll just say on the short, as far as the guy saying like people were staring at him and stuff, to me, that's just very odd to hear that because if he was white, I saw white people there, you know what I'm saying? And nobody was staring at them or treating them differently. Whether we're talking about in the touristy areas, because there is a historical area. It's not as old as like the pyramids, but there's an
Mm-hmm.
area it's called Carthage,
Mm-hmm.
Carthage, and that's like one of the big tourist draws. So you have like the ruins from Rome, like I don't know, like 2,000 years ago or whatever, and you can see that. And if you go there, you see lots of foreigners, mainly whites, right? Because Europe is just like a 2 hour flight or something like that, and nobody was staring at them, nobody was harassing them. As far as like in the downtown area, I saw white people there like doing their thing. As far as me, nah, nobody was messing with me. Nobody was staring at me. There was nothing like that going on. And the same thing in Morocco. Nobody was staring at me. I saw I think I saw more black people in Morocco than in Tunisia. I saw them in both places, but I think in Morocco it's like just super normal. Like they didn't just get here 2 years ago. Like they've been there for 30 years or something like that. Like they live in their life, very well integrated. They have jobs and stuff and going to university. In
Mm-hmm.
Tunisia, they do seem like they're a little bit more down bad. You know what I'm saying? They're a little bit more struggling, a little bit fresh off the boat. But in Morocco,
Okay.
nah, like you see some like well put together brothers in Morocco. And so no, nobody was staring at me or there was no craziness as far as that goes.
You felt safe at some people say they don't feel safe going out at night in Tunisia as well.
Nah, I never had that feeling. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm different because like I've been all over the world or whatever. But I mean, I was, I'm not like a huge party guy anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to get tipsy and like be out by myself and like mingling, hitting on people's girls and stuff in a place like that where I don't really know people like that. But as far as like me, just if I felt like going out and grabbing some food, it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. I walked around the neighborhood like it was nothing. Like I didn't, I wasn't like watching my back or anything like that. Like, the worst thing I saw was stray dogs. You got some stray dogs, in the street. Not a crazy amount, but it's not rare to see them. But they didn't do anything. They didn't. Yeah, yeah. I
Okay,
didn't.
okay.
I didn't. As a black man, I don't feel like in Tunisia you're gonna have any issues. In the capital, I can't really speak for in the boonies somewhere where like they just crossed from the desert, like the migrants. That's a whole different situation. But they could tell that you're not one of them type of folks is what I'm trying to say. Like just the way you carry yourself.
Right.
I never had anybody like disrespect me or like, you just got here type of nah. I didn't have that type of energy at all.
Okay, okay. Uh
Yeah.
we get a couple questions in the chat. Harvey asked, "What's your favorite African country?"
That's hard, man. That's like asking who's your favorite child, like if you got 4 kids or something like that. Um, I'll say I think the most well-rounded African countries are it's between Kenya and South Africa. Well-rounded. When I say that, I mean like for the average person who's never been to Africa, those are
Yeah.
two really good places to start. Everybody's going to speak English. The infrastructure is really good. Um, for the most part, you can move the way you move back home. Now, of course, in South Africa, depending where you're at, yeah, you do need to be a little more safety conscious. But the states, it's the same thing. I mean, they got guns in the states, they got guns in South Africa. I mean, if you can handle big city U.S., you can handle big city South Africa. Is how I look at it. And Nairobi, if you can handle going to Colombia, you can handle going to Kenya. That's how I look at it.
Okay. Another question was, which part of Spain would you recommend brothers travel to?
Okay, so it depends what you're going for, right? So if you're just going to see the sights or something, um, pretty much anywhere is good. Like you can hit Madrid for just a couple days. You can hit Sevilla for a couple days. You can hit, of course, Barcelona. You have to hit Barcelona for a couple days. It's expensive as hell. I got to say that. But
Mm,
yeah, just a couple days to get a feel for everything. Now, if you mainly just trying to go for like the local chicks, man, on a short trip, I'm gonna be honest, it's not going to be easy if you don't speak Spanish, if you don't have no connections or whatever. If you don't know nobody, you ain't got no homies. If you just pulling up dolo, I'm here, I'm Black American, I'm in Spain, where the bitch is at. Like, um, it's not going to be like they're not just gonna fall in your lap, is what I'm saying. Obviously, if you stick around, yeah, you can get them, but it's not like I'm just gonna land off the plane. Like unless you that guy, right? If you could just hop off the plane in LA or just hop off the plane in Miami and you got them lined up, then you're gonna have that in Barcelona too. But if that's not you in the
nah.
States, you're not gonna get no superpower when you get off that plane. Um, but yeah, if you stick around, you know what I'm saying? Like if you were to say, look, I got a month off of work or whatever, I'm gonna stay there from the whole month of June or the whole month of May, and I'm a hustle and flow. I'm gonna make moves. I'm gonna go out to clubs and stuff. You're gonna win out there. Yeah, for sure. You're gonna win. But weekend warriors, just a quick in and out trip. You're just gonna have a fun experience. You know what I'm saying? If it's just you, yeah, yeah. Like I said, unless you that guy. If you that guy, you already know you that guy. So you ain't even gotta ask me. You know what I'm saying? But if you like a typical guy, like middle of the road, you got a little bit of game, but you ain't got the best game. You know,
Mm.
um, yeah, it's not a quick place to like. I'm just gonna show up and they're gonna fall at my feet. Nah, it's not like that.
Let's see. Another question: is there anywhere you travel which made you feel at home?
Any place, man, a lot of places, man. Honestly, I'll say you'd be surprised. Like Japan, I just came from there. Japan feels very like livable. I mean, I don't know what other way I could say it. Like like there's a learning curve and a cultural curve, of course, like the first 2 weeks. But after that, like you're like, man, it's so clean, it's so peaceful. Like the food is so good, the prices are reasonable. Um, yeah, everything is just smooth. Like things work the way it's supposed to work. That's a place that's really livable, I would say. Feel like home? Nah, it doesn't feel like the States, but as far as like this is a place that is just comfortable. That's one of the places. I could say Kenya is the same way. It's very comfortable, especially if you stay for like a month or something. You'd be like, man, like, do I really feel like leaving? Like, it's not the best place, but it has enough good things that it's like, okay, it's checking a lot of boxes. And I mean, Ethiopia too, but I don't think it's for everybody. Like for me personally, of course, no excuse. He talks about Ethiopia a lot, but after you spend a good amount of time there, you get a rhythm and you're like, man, like this place just feels good. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you like the food. If you can get used to Ethiopian food, um, you don't have to look for too much extra stuff out there, and it's
Yeah,
peaceful. Like it just feels good for your spirit to be out there. You got to get the Lalibela too, brother. I know you haven't been yet,
I
right? You
know,
haven't
I
been.
know, I
You
know.
gotta go. You gotta go to
I've
Lalibela.
been getting, I've been getting pressure to go to that region, even though it's a little dangerous right now. But I've been
Yeah,
encouraged to go.
Yeah, when you go, you'll be like, yeah, he knew what he was talking about, man. Because that, honestly, that was my first trip. I'm glad I got to see it when I did because yeah, it just really it really kicked off my whole African passion to travel and see more of the continent. It was a really great first impression, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else.
KERIRL said, "What's your opinion on Ethiopia?" If you want to add to what you've been
So,
saying.
so my opinion on Ethiopia is that it's a place that is really going to surprise you. I don't care if you've been to West Africa before, if you spent some time in South Africa, North Africa, obviously, even if you've been in East Africa, like if you've been chilling in Rwanda or Uganda, Ethiopia is its own thing. It's its own animal. It's its own beast,
Mm,
right?
yeah,
Just to see the culture, what I'm saying? Almost everybody. I know you're gonna fight me on this. You're gonna fight me on this, but almost everybody is wearing natural hair. He's gonna object to this, but
hell
for the
no.
most, okay, okay. Compared to where though? Where are we comparing it to? Where are we comparing it to? Have you been to
Man,
somewhere in Africa with more natural hair?
yeah,
You think so? You would say what? Rwanda has more than Ethiopia?
definitely percentage wise, yeah.
Nah, I I don't know about that, man. We're never
Uh,
gonna agree on that one.
At,
We
at,
never.
at least in South Africa, they rocking baldies, or some parts of other parts of Africa, they rocking baldies
To
like
me,
they
to me,
ain't.
Baldy doesn't count. You gave up. You threw in the towel. That don't count as
No,
far as a natural. I need to see
man,
something. If it's just smooth, I mean, anybody, a white man can have a smooth head. A smooth head does not count. You
bro.
need something growing out. You need to have some roots. I need to see something growing out.
Them
You got
traditional
you got
dances, them traditional dances they be doing, and they got the French braids and they got the hair. That's weave. That's
I'm
a
not talking about
costume.
that though. I'm talking about the average person walking down the street. I'm not talking about ceremonies. I'm not talking about a ceremonial head thing. I'm talking
Go
about
to the
on a
go to
Monday.
the if they go to if they go to a club,
I'm
most of the
talking
chicks
about on
gonna
a
have weave.
Monday. If I stop at the corner and look at who's lining up for the bus, are most of the people going to have weave, or are they mostly going to have natural hair?
If they ain't got money, if they ain't got man, no, the
I don't
weave,
want to get
bro.
too. I don't want to get too far off topic. Man. I don't want to get too far off topic. But anyway, man, it'll feel good for your soul, man, if you get out to Ethiopia for your first time. Um, I feel like that answered
Have
it.
you visited any rural places? I don't know if you mean just in general or Ethiopia, but have you traveled to any rural places which brothers might be able to adapt to more easily?
Okay, that's I'm not sure exactly what he's asking there, but as far as rural areas, I really don't think most brothers, especially if they're new to the continent, are going to mess with the rural areas. Like I give you guys an example. In Tanzania, most people they just go to Dar and they go to
Mm,
Zanzibar, right? I went to Dar and Zanzibar, but I also went to a city called Mwanza, and this city is very inland in Tanzania. It's closer to Rwanda on that side of the country.
mm,
And I think most brothers wouldn't adapt to a place like that. It's a lot slower paced. It's cheaper. It's a lot cheaper than Dar because Dar, the accommodation and stuff can be very pricey in Dar. But nah, I don't think most brothers would. Of course, if you're already a rural type dude, if you grew up outside of a city in the States, you're from the South or something like that, yeah, you're gonna be fine in Africa in the rural areas. But I think most city guys, just going from Chicago to Nairobi is going to be a culture shock. Before we even get to like Kisumu or
yeah.
some other like very random place. So first, just deal with the big cities, and then once you get more comfortable, spread out
Well,
from there.
anything rural in Africa, I mean, that's pretty much saying a village. I don't see too many guys going to villages.
Nah,
You
nah.
know,
You got to
I
be
don't think I.
really, really one of them Pan African. Like you ready to rough it, you ready to drop a bucket over your head type dudes. I mean, if that's you, then yeah, you're ready for it. But the average person is not used to that if they're coming from a urban area in the states. It's too much
Yeah,
of a jump.
yeah.
You're gonna be with the chickens and Man, many times I'll be when I first started coming to Africa, especially when I would get outside the capitals, I'd be hearing chickens and all. I mean, you got a chorus of animals and stuff around you, and it's very weird at first. You get
Oh yeah,
used
that's
to it,
super
but
chill.
yeah, some people they're not trying to do it to that level.
Let me shout out this super chat, man. Appreciate the $5 super chat, travel lover. He said, appreciate you both with all this experience and knowledge. Keep these collaborations coming, man. Appreciate it, man. Yeah,
Man,
definitely.
respect.
Definitely need to do more collaboration. I haven't really been doing a lot of I guess you could say live stream collabs in a minute. But it's good to have. Let me see, my screen froze a little bit. Uh some other questions came about.
hmm
Harvey had a few. I don't know why my screen froze. 1 second, man. Let me move to tabs. I know it was a question. Okay, here we go. What can we look forward to if we subscribe to your Patreon, J Focus?
Okay, so I spoke about it when I first popped on, but maybe you just, are getting on here. But I have a crazy amount of travel worldwide, especially this year, man. It's been a sprint. Turkey, I didn't even mention Turkey earlier, but I got the Turkey info,
Mhm.
Macedonia, Mongolia, um, Indonesia, and not just Bali, but I covered Bali very, very well, but also the mainland parts of Indonesia, Japan. I know everybody's curious about Japan if they've never been there before. Um, just not only the typical places. Of course, I've hit all the major ones. The Kenyas, the South Africas, etc. But everywhere: North Africa, Egypt, Tunisia, Morocco, Cape Verde, Part Two. Got all that stuff
Mm,
exclusive coming down to Patreon, and I'm just continually to add to it.
mm. Have you got any plans on visiting Eritrea?
I really want to go, man. It's funny you mentioned it because this was like 2 years ago. I actually had a homie that I know in the States. His family's from there. I think he's only been there, when he was a child, and he wanted to go with me, and we had set everything up to go. And he had an unfortunate accident back in the States, so that trip got canceled at the last minute. And since then, I had kind of moved it out of sight, out of mind. But I want to make a way to go sometime next year. I would really love to go. Um, I don't know exactly when it's going to be, but it's always been on my list. It's been on my list for over 5 years. The main issue is the visa. You have to coordinate. You can't just wake up and say, okay, in 3 days I'm going to Eritrea. Um, so if it happens, it would be sometime when I'm closer to Ethiopia, probably sometime next year. I don't know when exactly, but I really would like to go there. I'll probably make a trip to Benin sometime next year as well. I think that'll be kind of exclusive because I don't think
Mm.
too many brothers have really shown anything on YouTube about it, really on the ground perspective. So look forward to that as well.
Now, something I've been wanting us to talk about is like kind of like the current state of Africa, like as you and I see it. Because we talk a lot, we talk a lot offline, and there's things we notice in different regions, whether it's south or east or west, and then we all kind of, both of us are kind of narrowing down like our favorite places in Africa. So, what have you seen like over, let's say, the last 5 years from countries you visited in Africa, maybe more than once, like things that are changed? Did they change for the better? Did they change for the worse? Just kind of just give your thoughts on like your mindset on just how you're coming to that last chapter of like trying to find a African home.
Okay. Yeah, man. With the tough questions. I can say that trying to narrow down on Africa and something that you guys can hold me to is like almost an impossible task. I will
Mm,
say that I've noticed things change a lot because I've been coming to the continent since 2016. So this
mm,
is going on 10 years that I've been traveling throughout Africa, starting with Ethiopia. Um, I think probably because I first started with Ethiopia, I noticed the most changes there.
mm,
Um, I mean, when I first came, the airport was they just had the little one. They didn't. It wasn't expanded. They didn't have the main international one like they do
mm,
now. The boulevards when you first arrive is beautiful. It's all lit up. It's shiny and everything like that. 2016, it was not like that. It was it was dusty. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
I'm gonna call it like it was. It was dusty. Like you came and it was like, man, it's kind of rough out here. But like the investment and the tall buildings and stuff on the main avenues and stuff, and um, there's that new district. I can't even think of the name of it. It's like somewhere near Piazza, I think, in the capital. That didn't exist. I think even like 2 or 3 years ago. So yeah,
mm,
lots of money has been pumped into it. The metro the first year when I got to Addis, that was the first
mm,
year when the metro had opened. So I did get to ride it the first time. Um,
mm,
and I think they might have expanded it. I don't know if they have yet and put another line. I don't know, maybe not yet. But um, one cool thing about Africa is that it's just growing like phenomenally. Like there are other places in the world I was at in 2016 that I go back to them like today, and I'm like nothing changed. Like literally nothing changed because the thing about the Western world is for the most part it's done. You know what I'm saying? Like the only thing that changes is it gets more expensive. But like the roads are done, you know what I'm saying? The infrastructure is done, the
oh, okay,
airports are
okay.
done, everything is done. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Africa, it's like a work in progress, everything. So it is cool that when you come back to Africa to an African country after a year or 2 years, you will definitely notice something is different. That building wasn't there, that statue wasn't there. Whatever app didn't work before, now it works. Everything is faster now. I'm not getting asked for bribes as much now. Like all these improvements, they're increments. It's small little improvements, but
Mm,
I think it's going to blow people's mind in 10 years, 10 more years, what the continent looks like in a lot of places. I'll say number one, Kenya. The first time I went to Kenya, 2017, nobody was talking about Kenya. You guys, if y'all don't believe me, check my channel and go back to my very first videos. I think my first video ever was Uganda, and then like my second or third video was in Kenya. You know what I'm saying? And nobody was out there. You can see how different the comments were too. There was just this idea of like, you're a Black American, why are you here? Like you're not like your parents aren't from here or something. Like they couldn't even grasp that some of us want to connect to whatever African country because so many of them wanted to go to the States. And social media wasn't popping like it is now with TikTok and all this stuff where they're getting all these messages. So as far as the women's side of things, I think I in the 10 years that I've been traveling to Africa, more or less, I think there was a shift between, let's say, 2016 and 2020. This was like one era, we'll say. And
mm.
then there was another era from, we'll say, like 2020 to like 2020 to the end of 2023, right?
So I hope we still Gucci. No. Uh, Can y'all hear me? Mic check, mic check. I don't know if that's me or J Focus that froze. Mic check, mic check. Let me know if y'all can hear me.
Yo, we back? We back?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yeah, yeah, I hear you good. Okay. I forgot what
Yeah.
I was saying. Oh yeah, so I said then there was the second era. They said I got frozen now. Yeah, so there was the second era, I think, from like 2020 to like the end of 2023. And then like we got the 24 era to
Ooh, that's a
now.
good
I feel
question.
like that's the next era, right?
Mm,
Um, And the major differences I've seen, do you regret opening up Africa to the Passport Bros movement? I, is that a question for me or for you?
I don't know.
You didn't specify, man. Yeah. Because I don't know how you would answer that. So I don't know. You gotta. Oh, he said we hear both.
I
We hear you both. Okay. So who was the
yeah, I
question
mean,
for? Was it for no excuse or for me?
he said both. He said both.
I think you should take that one. I mean,
I
you the
would
passport.
say,
That's your podcast. So
I would say, I mean, it's no regret because I mean, it's not the most desired. It's still not the most desired place for most passport bros. It's on the back burner. It's still Latin America, Asia, and Africa in that pecking order. So I don't
right.
think it's I don't even think it scratched the surface of Africa, to be honest with you. In
True.
regards to that.
Yeah.
Um,
54 countries. So yeah,
but
we
I
didn't.
did, huh?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I did want to interject while we're kind of talking about like kind of the evolution of how we see change in Africa. Uh, I have a more painful like reality seeing Africa, like at least the countries I've been to. Um, a lot of people see me like, kind of start hitting South Africa. I wasn't the first YouTuber or black YouTuber that was going to South Africa, but I definitely uh you know got a lot of people attention, especially
Oh yeah, yeah.
my Durban visit.
You made me book my trip, man.
You know what I
I ain't
mean?
even
And
gonna hold you. That's the truth.
so I was on a high, man. But over time in South Africa, I started seeing, the materialism, the liberalism, all the things that come with those things, and then
Preach.
the political, the way they view politics. It just so many things that just kind of like just made me look at a lot of South Africans different, even the way they vote and how they diss their civil rights leader and how we embrace our civil rights leader. There's just so many things that changed since when I first went to South Africa. And then, recently the events that happened in Tanzania really was like, and Tanzania is is one of my fun places, but when they during their elections, when their government cut off the internet, basically silenced their people and showed the world that this is an authoritative, what I mean, you got to
Right.
call out you see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a dictatorship, and you know what I mean, under the guise of a democracy. So it's like, damn, it's people, salute to Tanzania Tony. He living there. I'm texting him trying to see if he okay. I can't even get in touch with him. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
Some people want to be what you call a digital nomad. What if you was a digital nomad in Tanzania and the government cut off internet? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gonna lose your job.
Yeah,
So
your job
those,
gone. You got a
yeah,
deadline. Yeah. Yeah. Your boss ain't trying to hear none of that.
those are harsh things, man, harsh realities. Even Kenya, the situation, to be honest with you, with what that dude went through with the marriage and stuff like that, it really sent a bad taste in a lot of passport bros' mouth. Because yeah, dudes get divorced, dudes bring chicks in the US and get divorced, and it does happen. But what she did was she made a public spectacle out of it.
Yeah.
That
That was evil. That was diabolical. That was like, it's one thing if y'all, are not on good terms, but she didn't even put it out there like, okay, it was so bad, XYZ. She put it out there like, I upgraded, you know what I mean? Ha ha ha. F y'all black Americans, which was crazy. You know what I'm saying? It was very crazy. Not looking at him as an individual, not saying he did anything wrong, but I'm just saying to throw everybody under the bus, it just it was ridiculous. And then this is a country that you're not even on solid ground in. You know what I'm saying? So you really feeling yourself. You feeling super comfortable under the wrong administration. You know what I mean? Somebody might have told her someone else won that election because who we got right now is not the time to be a cocky person with a green card.
Man,
No, this is not that time.
that
He's showing
you
a lot
know,
of people. He's showing people that aren't even melanated that it's time to go. So
I know. Yeah, she was a Super Bowl. She called herself trying to humble the passport bro, man. That's crazy. And she's a micro, and the women that was cheering her on, that really put the nail in the coffin for me because that means that what she did, a lot of women share her same mentality,
that they
and
would do
that
it if
is
they could. Yeah, exactly.
exactly. Exactly. Another aspect that has really came out is like even like O'Shea, he did a lot of live streams talking about he said pan scamming. You know,
Yeah,
he called out a lot of scamming and
yeah. This year has been crazy, man. As far as lifting the wall up over people's eyes, and it's not sweet out here. A lot of things. I think people can romanticize Africa, or just living abroad in general, and they don't realize the downsides. Of course, there are, the positives, or nobody would do it, but the negatives are going to be too negative for a lot of people. And there's things that, I don't care how much planning you do, you're not going to be prepared for everything. And even more so in a new environment, in a place where you don't have family roots. Um, so yeah, I think a lot of people, and then another thing too is a lot of expats in Africa have been packing up and going home. Unrelated to
Hmm.
the things that you had just mentioned, the politics and stuff. Just a lot of times, people who might have came right after COVID in 2022 and thought, it's my forever home or whatever. They after 2 years, they packing up and leaving. You know what I'm saying? So I
It's
think
expensive out here.
yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the reasons too why, of course, I still like to travel, but I'm not leaping into choosing one country, because when I do want it to be in a major way. I don't want it to be like, okay, this is my transition country to the next one, to the next one. Like, no, I want it to be, we maybe not stay here till the wheels fall off, but at least like 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Like really, really get something there. You know what I'm saying? Property, contacts, romantic, marriage, all that kind of stuff is on the table. So when I do it, I'm going to do it the correct way, and I'm gonna look before I leap. Is what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah, man. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I'm still here because I love the pros of Africa, but like a lot of stuff has been weighing on me. Just like, I used to talk about DR heavy with, begging and complain about certain things in Latin America, but um even the women, African most African to the women in their mind, African culture is, men, they could just ask, basically men are like a father when it comes to money. Daddy, can I have this? Daddy, can I have that? You know,
Mm.
and that stuff is just, it's everywhere.
Draining, huh? It's
It's
draining.
everywhere. It's everywhere. At least Colombia, I was able to take a break from. You see it in DR. You could take a break going to like Brazil or Colombia from like that level of DR. But in Africa, it's like okay, I go to from Uganda to Kenya to Ethiopia. Not too much in South Africa, but it is like you looked at
Widespread.
like daddy.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories. Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories about that, man.
Let me highlight some of the comments real quick. The King Ray said, "Look at the issues happening with Sasua in Colombia and Africa still ain't desired by brothers." Yeah, I'm done. If not, I kind of got to the conclusion that I don't like when people try to push uh a country a place on me, so I really don't try to push a place on brothers. I'll talk about my experiences and people ask me questions on why I like it and stuff like that and share. But um, if people have no interest in Africa, that's cool. You know what I mean? That's
Right. Yeah.
you know.
I'm the same way, I love Africa, right? But I understand it's not going to be for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And my content is not only Africa. A lot of it is, but I also go to other places and, you can't please everybody. The flip side of that is there are people who come to my channel just for the African stuff and they
Mm,
don't want to see the other stuff, which, hey, it's fine. And, people can pick and choose, but me, I never have tried to push Africa on anybody. That's why, the guys comment about the passport bros and stuff taking over Africa. I'm like, man, I never told anybody to come. I said, if you want to come, if you're ready for that, here's the real, the good, the bad, the ugly. I never sold anybody a package trip. Nothing wrong with people who do because there's a market for that. But I never, came out and said, come to Uganda, guys, come to Kenya, come to Ethiopia, sign up. I'm gonna take 50 people with me. I never did anything like that. And I
mhm.
had people ask me if I was interested in it, but yeah, I'm not about selling a country. It's more about I feel like just being transparent. And if somebody reaches out to me one on one, they want a consultation or something, then I'll break down and give them specific things for whatever country they're really interested in, and I'll be uncensored and tell them what's up. I had a consultation the other day, which surprisingly wasn't even Africa. It was about Argentina. This brother was, he was sick of the Sosuas and everything else, and he was like, what's the real on Argentina? He had saw one of my videos, and I broke it down to him. I didn't sell him a dream. I said, look, this is what's probably going to happen. Based on you, based on the things that you're looking for, and if you can't find it here, I'll tell you a place where I think you can find it. So yeah, I just try to be as transparent as possible um, about people's expectations on things and not sell one country.
It's a question posed to you from Travel Lover. He said, "Hey Jay, if you work remotely, curious if you live permanently overseas, and if not, why not? If you want to
Yeah,
answer that."
so this year, I've been making moves all over the place. So I mean, you could consider that um, living permanently if that's what you consider it to be. But yeah,
Mhm.
I'm a traveler. I make moves. I'm typically in several different countries a year.
Harvey said, "Which country have you visited where you felt like you met the most honest people?" Hmm.
Mm, that's a good question.
Let me
We
think
had
about
some
that
good
one.
questions today. Sadly, it's going to be a lot of Asian countries, man. Honestly,
I
I'll say
would
Japan,
agree.
man. I never felt like anybody was trying to come up on me. I never felt like, oh, they go, like I got to worry about wearing jewelry or anything, even if it's 3 in the morning. I'm by myself. It's a dark alley. Like nothing ever crossed my mind that like I'm gonna get jumped or anything. And as far as honesty, like dealing with Airbnbs and different accommodations and stuff, I never had somebody sell me this and it's really this. Like it's always been, exactly like the pictures. No surprises. Um, People just been really helpful when I was trying to go around and do things, and even with the language barrier, I never felt anyone was trying to cheat me or like charge him more because he's a foreigner or anything like that. Like everything was above board. I could say more or less the same thing about a country called Laos. I was there, I think in December last year, LAOS, and I have a couple videos on it on the Patreon. I think I might have had one on the YouTube as well. But they're very honest people, very low cost of living, very comfortable. It's not a turn up party place, but if you need to unwind, you want to see something different, it's a really good place for that. Now you're probably asking me about Africa, like where are the most honest people in Africa? That's tough. That's tough. Man, that is tough because it's like there's different levels to honesty. I'm like, are we talking about dealing with like landlords and Airbnb type stuff? Like, are you talking about are they like straightforward? Are you talking about like dealing with taxi drivers or like people cheating you in the marketplace? Like, it's difficult.
I
I'll say that Cape Verde, surprisingly, if you speak Portuguese, because if you don't speak Portuguese, it might be completely different. You know, they might be like, all right, we got a sucker right here. But like I say, for the most part in Cape Verde, people were above board. Now I do have a story where there was a guy who did like a bait and switch with my booking. I use booking.com, and some dude was a little bit shady, but you know, when I called him on it, he gave me all the money and you know, it was cool. You know, I didn't lose anything in the whole thing. And then from there on, the whole rest of the time, I was in three different islands and I never had
Mhm.
anything similar to that. Like everything was above board. Um, other than that one incident. So yeah, I would probably say Cape Verde is above average when it comes to like honesty and just I don't
I
know.
I would
Yeah,
probably
if you know
say
Portuguese, because if you just speak English, maybe they give you the sucker treatment. But most people thought I was local everywhere I went. Like they were shocked. Like on all three islands, everyone local was shocked that I didn't speak. I mean that I wasn't a local. You know what I'm saying? I could go in the gym, I could go to the restaurants, wherever. You know, they were really blown away I wasn't local. But go ahead.
no, I was gonna say I would say Rwanda and like South Africa. I would say a lot of honest people. For my
Yeah,
just
yeah,
for my interaction.
I can see that. Yeah, I'm thinking of a couple incidents I had in Rwanda, but for the most part, you're right. For the most part, um, I never had any issues there with like accommodations, um, whether I was in Kigali or what's the city by the lake? What's that other city by
I
the
don't
lake?
know what's called.
You know the one I'm talking about, though. Yeah, both places. You know, everybody was. You know, they were very friendly and you know did what they were supposed to do. I don't think I got cheated once in Rwanda. Yeah, even leaving the airport, taking a taxi from the airport, I don't think dude tried to do me like, you know, dirty. Of course, it was like my second time in the country, so if he tried it, you know, maybe he could sense that I was, you know, I was hip. But nah, you're right. Rwanda is better for Africa. It is one of the better ones as far as that. Um, Not getting scammed, not getting cheated, anything like that. Yeah, Rwanda is one of the better ones. And then you said South Africa. Yeah, yeah, I can see that too. I could agree with that one. We don't always
uh,
agree. You know, he likes to argue a lot, man. He'll argue about
no.
everything with you.
I, uh, another question on the floor. The King Ray, he said, "Do you brothers have Cameroon or Ivory Coast on your list?" For me, Cameroon and Nigeria. If I visit any new countries, those will be the last two because I'm not trying to visit any more new countries.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you guys. I'm at 20 or 21. It might be 21 African countries now. So I'm damn near halfway, almost halfway through the continent, man. And I'm not doing them all. Don't ask me. I am not. I'm not pulling up to Libya. It's not happening. Just to be complete, I'm not going to all these crazy war zones and stuff. Um, but you know, you get to a point where it's like you can't be everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I got limited time on this planet, and I do want to, like I said, I do want to establish some things, right? I do want to
Yeah.
establish some things. So as far as new African countries, you guys will probably only see like maybe four new ones. Like I feel like
Mm,
Eritrea has to happen. I don't know when, but it has to happen.
mm,
Um, Benin, that one you guys could probably look forward to sooner than later.
mm,
And then I probably got two more left in me. I haven't been to Zambia yet. Surprisingly, I haven't been to
mm,
Zambia. I think it's like kind of a middle of the road country where it's like
mm,
because it's inland, people forget about it. But from
mhm,
what I hear, the infrastructure is really good. It's kind of like somewhere between Kenya and South Africa as far as like the development and stuff like that. So I would like to go there. So I could possibly go there next year. Um, Zimbabwe, maybe I could go to next year. Maybe you know that's a question mark.
mm,
Um, and then I don't know. I mean, Ivory Coast. I've heard so many good things about Ivory Coast. I've
mhm,
never heard anybody who went there who didn't like it. Never.
mm.
Like whether they're white, whether they're black, whether they're African, whether they're European, whether they're American. Everyone I heard has liked Ivory Coast who's been, even though not many people have been. So I would consider it. if I do go to Benin next year, Benin is very close to Ivory Coast. It's the same
Mhm.
language. They speak French in both places. So who knows? I might go to Ivory Coast next year. I don't have any plans for Cameroon though. So I'm gonna probably leave it to this man to go and give me the breakdown. Maybe he'll convince me if he has a good time. When I see some receipts, I might be like, all right, yeah, let me go to Cameroon too. African country number 26 or whatever. But for now, uh, it's probably not likely for Cameroon.
Mm. Good question. Good question. Hey, on a side note, man, you know, put us brother in y'all prayers, man. You know, we be hopping on a lot of planes. You know, a lot of things could unexpectedly
Right,
happen. Like I be
right.
thinking about, I be like, man, like I'm in the Oromia region in Ethiopia, and I'm gonna be exploring just to get information, man, for you guys, man, to make informative decisions, man. And Jay Focus done been to way more places than I have. And
Yeah.
you know, it's fun, you know what I mean? But it's a lot of,
It's
you know,
taxing.
anything can happen.
It's a lot
Yeah,
of
the
planning
taxes
that
are
goes into it. It's a lot of risk that goes into it. I mean, you guys may not understand. Like there's a lot behind the scenes. You guys see the highlights. We try to make it smooth and glossy for you guys, but yeah, there's a lot of downsides. I
I done
mean,
took L's. I
I
done
mean,
took
just yeah,
L's.
it took L's, right? Because you roll the dice a lot of times. It's easy to go where everybody goes. It's easy to just say, okay, I'm gonna go to Medellin. It's easy to say, I'm just gonna go to Rio. You know what I'm saying? Those places are cool. I'm not knocking those places, but I'm saying, uh, salute the guys who go outside of that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of risk. It simply is. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what that is.
Harvey asked, how many languages can you speak?
So I speak, I would say, reasonably fluently, French, Portuguese, and my Spanish is sharp. So, I speak Spanish all day with you. So four languages is what I would say.
Okay. Another question. Thoughts on Mark Meets Africa? I know you met him in Uganda. What's your experience with him?
It's a funny question, man. Mark. So I've been seeing a little bit of the O'Shea stuff between him and Mark, and he knows Mark better than I do. You know what I'm saying? He was on the show twice. I think I did two interviews with him, during the same
Mhm.
time when we were in Uganda, just me and Mark. Uh,
Charge my
we
phone.
grabbed some lunch together one time or whatever, and we chatted a little bit, but I don't really stay in contact with Mark like that. So I don't know anything. I haven't spoken to the brother in well over a year. So I don't have any updates about him. I wish him the best. I don't know what's fact, what's fiction about the things that people say. I really can't call it. I can't speak on something that I don't have firsthand knowledge on. Anything else, I would just be speculating.
Okay. Harvey said not interested in visiting Namibia or Botswana.
Is he talking to me?
I guess so. When you name like countries that you
I I
you,
have both of
you
those countries on the channel already.
okay.
Yeah, I went to both of those. You can find them on the channel. You have playlists, so if you can't see it right away, if you type in J Focus Namibia, it doesn't come up. Just go to the channel page and go to playlists, and there's a Namibia playlist. I did like 20 videos in Namibia, and Botswana, I did probably two videos.
Okay. What up, Kenny? Yeah,
Oh,
he's
he's
been
talking to
to
you.
Morocco.
He was talking to you. He said I was talking to
Oh,
No Excuse about
oh, oh, oh.
I think unless I read the wrong one. But yeah, he said he was
Let
talking
me
to No Excuse.
let me catch up. Let me catch up.
It was Harvey.
Okay. It was a Morocco question. I never been to Morocco, but Jay Focus has been. Um, I had no interest in Namibia and Botswana because a few reasons. You know, I researched whether I research climate in certain countries, and I can kind of know like what I might like and what I don't like. And then South Africa, you know, those are Southern African countries. They have similar cultures when it comes to like They're liberal societies. Yes, they have beautiful women. But the ideology, the makeup is pretty much the same. So to make a long story short, I'm turned off of Southern Africa as far as like considering living. I do enjoy visiting South Africa from time to time, but that's kind of where I'm at. I'm East Africa just checks more boxes for me. It checks way more boxes for me. He said, "I hope you guys have international health insurance." I never thought about getting that after the pandemic. You know, um,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, I agree with what you said about Namibia and Botswana. To me, they're like suburbs of South Africa. You know what I'm saying? It's like going from it's like going from Chicago to Toronto. You know what I'm saying? It's not that different. Like it's the same language, more or less the same culture. Um, so if he's not really feeling um, South Africa, I don't think those two countries are going to change his opinion. Like I said, they're just extensions of South Africa, and the money system is almost the same. The politics are almost the same. I enjoyed both countries. They're very. I won't say they're very different, but they are quite different. I will say this about Botswana: I would go back because I had a very short trip there. It was kind of impromptu. I hadn't planned to go to Botswana, but I was already in South Africa, and I had another issue with somewhere else that I really wanted to go. And so I was like, well, Botswana's right here. Let's go to Botswana. And I was surprised. The welcome I got there was very warm, warmer than in South Africa. When I landed in Cape Town, ain't nobody care about me for nothing, man. For nothing. But when I was in
What?
Botswana, like real talk, like even what do they call them? Man, the flight attendants, they was flirting, you know what I'm saying? Like off rip. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Even like when they stamped me into the country, they was smiling and it was like, so happy to see a black American there. And in Cape Town is just like next, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody cares. Same thing in Joburg, like they're like next. But
Yeah.
yeah, they're warm people in Botswana. To me, they are the chillest Africans I've ever met. The chillest. I've been to 20 countries. They're super chill. You will not get them off their square. They just like they just smoked up or something. They just smooth. They just like, yo, it's whatever. You know what I mean? Men and women, they just super chill.
Which one Austin in now? He in Namibia or Botswana?
I don't know. I don't know.
I know he in one of those countries.
Namibia is a little bit different. Namibia is basically like an extension of Cape Town. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, not as warm. Interesting place though. Like it's not bad. I have nothing bad to say about the people there. But yeah, if Cape Town isn't for you, you're probably not really gonna like Namibia either.
hmm.
Um, what was the other question? There was another. Why was South
um,
Africa really that bad? Um, Cape Town was. Cape Town was. Durban is different. Joburg is different, but Cape Town, nah, that was not it.
okay, he's in Namibia. Oh, just to answer your question, Kenny. Yeah, I did see O'Shea. He had a Pan African dating show event that I attended. Um, it wasn't one of the like behind the curtain scenes, but they had
Yeah,
like it was an International Men's Day, so you'll probably see that whenever he whenever he
really.
puts that up on his channel. Let's see. Appreciate that, travel lover.
King Ray busting
Um,
out the French on here.
Let me see where we at. He said, "Wow, was South Africa really that bad?" Yeah, I mean South Africa, like it just evolved. Like it was. I hit it at the right peak, and I seen it change overnight. I've seen a lot of changes overnight. And some places I think happen like that. Um, but
Yeah,
I'm going back to Joburg though. So
right. Yeah, me too. So, you guys might have seen I did some videos in Pretoria that got a lot of views. I did a couple in Joburg. Um, Cape Town, I think I might have did one or two that got a decent amount of views. So I'm actually planning to go back, not because of the YouTube stuff, but because
mm,
I wanted to give Joburg another shot. So the first time I was in Joburg, I was kind of sick, so I didn't get the full experience. So this time when I go, I'm planning to stay a lot longer, and I want to cover a lot more stuff. So I want you guys to support that, especially since I'm getting South Africa questions, right? So after this second trip, I will become the expert on South Africa. So as I said, the first time, we're not going to count that. And when I was talking bad about South Africa, I was mainly talking about Cape Town.
Mm.
Joburg was not perfect by any means, and I don't disagree with anything No Excuse said about it. But I still want to give it a second shot, and I want to explore deeper. You feel me? So I want to see more Pretoria. I want to see more Joburg, and I want to see some of the southern cities as well. So then once I seen that, I could say, look, I seen like 6 different cities in South Africa. So can't nobody tell me nothing, and I'll stand on it. I'll debate anybody about South Africa after that. I mean, he can already do it, but me, I need to give it a second shot. So that should be coming up sooner than later.
Oh yeah, yeah. We definitely gonna link when we out there.
Yeah, we'll compare notes. It'll be good. It'll be good. Good watching. I'll put it like that. You guys will enjoy that.
Yeah, I actually want to experience the nightlife. I haven't seen the nightlife everybody say Joburg has. Like every time I went to Joburg, it was like I caught it on a bad week or a bad week. So I was like, all right, I gotta, I'm gonna be there long enough to see, you know.
Right. That's what's
So
up.
I'm so I'm looking forward to that, man. So when it comes to, so I want to talk about, I did want to talk about some of the I talked about some of the cons,
Did you
you
get all the
know.
questions? I think there might have been one more, or maybe I'm
Mm,
I'm I'm wrong.
the last question, oh, he said, is O'Shea still in Uganda? Yes, he's still in Uganda. Um,
He said he feel like he's going through it.
no, I mean, I think a lot of us have realized, like I made a quote, like, about this dream has turned into a nightmare. Like, a lot of people was pushing for Pan Africanism, and really, Tariq Nasheed said this, and I said this too, is that there's no universal definition of Pan Africanism, because you ask 10 people, you're gonna get 10 different answers. So I look at it like, not to get on a tangent, but I look at Pan African like, I look at it like this: either you're promoting Africa to live, or you're promoting Africa to visit. You know, I don't think there's nothing wrong with, promoting people to visit Africa, or African country. Um, I think the problem is promoting people to live in Africa with all the issues that come with it. You don't run into too many problems traveling. Yeah, people gonna try to get over on you, but for the most part, you there for a short time. you know, it is what it is. But when you live and invest your money and stuff like that, and you can't get citizenship in a lot of these places that you love, or land, or issues with attaining land safely, that's where it gets kind of, that's where Pan Africa, falls, dead on arrival when it comes to that. Um, that's all I got to say about that. Any plans on visiting Djibouti?
Yeah. Yeah, just to speak a little bit on that question. Yeah, I mean, you guys got to understand, like, O'Shea's a businessman, so he's dealing with things on a different level that a retiree in Africa is not going to deal with. Because they already did their work in the states. They're just coming and they're bringing their check or whatever, and they don't have to deal as much with the people on the ground. And I think honestly, those are the expats that you probably see stick around the most, because they're not as vulnerable, I guess, to some of the trends that can happen, and they don't have to do as much networking. Like somebody like O'Shea, who runs a big production like that, He's got employees to deal with. He's got to deal with visa issues. He's got to deal with local issues. He's reaching back to the states all the time for that audience and being relevant there. So he's managing a whole lot of things. Um, and then there is a disappointment as well because somebody who's been on the continent as he has for what 5 years now, something like that. Um, I think he's seen a lot of the negatives that somebody who's just visiting once a year, you're not going to see all of that. You get to have the best experience, you get to pick and choose kind of. Whereas when you're there 10 toes down the whole year, you don't get to pick and choose. You're dealing with everything. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's just my perspective on it. But he's been a success out there. And I wish him even more success. He's a very positive brother, and he may can't come off like he's ranting or angry or whatever, but it's all from a good place. This is a brother who has pushed Pan Africanism on YouTube, I think more than anybody that I can name, and has done it consistently for years and years and years. Um, he might have done it in a harsh way to some people or whatever, but the the feeling is still there, and the fruits of it, things like the Pan African Dating Show that he was able to put off, when nobody else was thinking like that. Um, that's my perspective on it. As far as visiting Djibouti, is that for you or is that for me?
I don't know. For me, no, I'm not. I don't plan on visiting Djibouti.
So as far as Djibouti, I got close to visiting Djibouti probably two different times. So I think the last trip that I was in Ethiopia was sometime last year. Um, and I was almost about to go, but then I looked at it, and for me to go to Djibouti, I would have to leave the country. And if I go to Djibouti, it's just going to be a quick trip. I'm going to go there for like 3 or 4 days because it's a very tiny country. There's not a lot to do there. So if I was to go to Djibouti, I was going to leave Addis and fly to Djibouti, and then fly to Djibouti
Mm.
and come back to Addis, right? Because most of the flights are going to leave Addis anyway. And then plus, I wanted to spend more time in Addis. And then I realized if I leave Ethiopia to go to Djibouti, and then I come back, I'm gonna have to pay for a whole new visa, even if I just go for the weekend. So if when I landed in Ethiopia, I got a 30-day visa, and I'm on day 5, and I say, let me go to Djibouti real quick and come back, they're gonna ask me for a whole new visa because it's a single entry. So I was like, because of that, I was like, is it worth it? Like, does my audience want to see Djibouti that bad? Is somebody super chatting me like the extra $50 that I'm gonna need? If I come back and pay the visa fee, like I don't mind paying for my own flights, but if I'm gonna leave and come back, like, is it really worth it to me? And I didn't see the demand being there that like a lot of people wanted to see Djibouti content, so that's why I never did it. But in the future, the next time when I'm in that region, if it's being supported and people want to see it, I have no problem going to Djibouti. But as I said, it's just a very low priority for me personally. Like there's nothing like I want to go to Djibouti to see the fill in the blank. Like what is there to see? I mean,
Right.
it's just gonna be people, right? I mean, there's no sculpture, there's nothing like historical there. There's a lot of military bases there. It's very restricted. They don't like cameras based on the people I know who've actually been there. So yeah, it's low priority. I'll probably go one day, but don't count on it unless the support is there.
Man, you got me thinking about something. Speaking of visas, man, every time I go, Uganda, they take a whole page of your passport to put that little visa sticker in
Yep,
there,
and it's
man.
single entry too, usually.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
like, man,
I
they
got like
wasting
3 of them,
pages.
man. Yeah, they carry my whole book up. They tear my whole book up.
I'm like, God damn, man, Uganda, man, they need to make it easier, man.
Yep.
They use a.
It's
I got to. I'm
unnecessary. You need a new picture every time. Like, come on, this is excessive.
a whole page. But yeah, I figured out with Ethiopia, because I got the multi-entry, so you only could do single entry on online. So,
Okay.
but in person, you can get a different, you can get multiple entry. You can
From the
get
States, or you mean in person somewhere else? You got to do it in the States.
in Ethiopia when you because this
Oh,
visa
when
on
you land.
arrival, so you could go to
Okay.
the
To the
you can
desk.
go, yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, I see a buck in the background. Let me see if this the buck I know. That buck travel? Okay. I'm gonna bring somebody up. Maybe you got questions. What up, Buck?
Hey man, what's going on? No excuse. What's going on, Jay Focus, man? Hey man, no
Yo,
excuse, man. I'm
What's happening?
yo, whatever you're doing, keep doing, bro. It's
who is
like
this?
you got a lot. You be.
You got
I'm
a
like, man,
question?
yo, what do you do for a living, man? I'm like, you be off a lot, man. I'm like, God damn. But Jay
Okay.
Focus, let me ask you a lot, this question.
He ain't saying nothing.
Is this calling a lot? I mean, does he pull up to a lot of these? He's somebody you recognize?
Not that voice.
Okay, it's a different buck
Not the
then.
voice. Not the
Yeah,
voice.
because there was a buck on my page a couple times that I noticed, but I guess it's a different guy.
He said, "Any of you brothers know how to bypass yellow fever certificate in Uganda?" I don't think there's no way to bypass it. Because you got to apply for a visa online anyway, so they're
Yeah, they're
gonna.
gonna want you to upload it. So if you don't upload it, it's not gonna move. I don't think so. I don't think they're gonna move it.
Yeah, I don't think. 'Cause I'm trying to
I
think.
mean, if you
You know what?
if you really trying to get around it, I don't think that it would be hard to get a fugazi yellow fever, especially
Yeah,
if yeah. I mean, if you really like anti getting that, then yeah. But I mean, it's easier to just get one. But if you really
yeah,
trying to go around it, I'm sure you could get documents if you really wanted to.
yeah. I'm trying to remember if they asked for it the last time I applied. Yeah, Uganda does ask for it every time. Th- Speaking of that, let me warn you guys too, because some countries like Ethiopia is one that they consider a yellow fever country. I don't know who else. Maybe it's Uganda, but
Most of them in the
basically,
east. Most of
if
them in the east.
yeah, if you moving around, for example, I went to Thailand first, right? And I met some, I went to Thailand via Ethiopia. And I'm going through migration like everybody else on on the Thailand flight. And they look at they look at your passport or they look at where you came from and it was like you got yellow fever vaccine. I'm like, yeah, but I'm just like, why would I need it? Like I've been to Thailand a lot. They're like, oh, because if you were in Ethiopia for more than like 8 hours or something like that, then you have to have proof of a yellow fever. Now, some people would be caught off guard if they didn't know that. So, I don't know what other countries. It's not all East African countries, but I know Ethiopia is a country. If you spent more
Uganda
than like
too.
Uganda, yeah, if you spend
Yeah.
more than like a certain amount of time in that country, then you're gonna have to show proof of yellow fever vaccine. They do that like going from Brazil to Colombia, but they don't do it going from Colombia to Brazil, which is odd. So having a yellow fever just handy is just good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's good. It's good for life.
yeah, I was gonna add too that Cape Verde actually asked for yellow fever, and just recently I was there, and I was surprised they even asked white people coming from Europe for the yellow fever,
Mm.
and they were shocked. You know what I'm saying? And I was shocked, but I had it. You know what I'm saying? So it was just nothing but a thing, and just kept it moving. But a lot of people got hemmed up by that. They were surprised that that they didn't have it, and I think they made them get it or something.
Let's see. Harvey said, "Which country made you feel uneasy or safe
Uneasy or unsafe.
or unsafe?" Hmm.
um, so y'all probably seen the Mauritius video I did. Mauritius.
Mm.
That country made me feel unwelcome. I mean, not so much unsafe, but like, we don't want blacks in this country. They said it without saying it, just their behavior. And it wasn't just one person where you could be like, oh, well, he's just an asshole. It was like one person, another person, another person, then another person. And this is all within like an hour. You know what I'm saying? It was like, damn, like they really don't want us out here. Um, and it's technically an African country, which really,
Mm,
blows your mind when you think about it. I would say another one I didn't feel like welcome, not uneasy so much or unsafe, was Bulgaria. Bulgaria. It's in Eastern Europe, and I never felt unsafe. Like I'm gonna get my ass kicked or anything like that. But same thing, I felt very unwelcome when I first arrived. Now I don't want to throw all Bulgarian people under the bus, but I did meet some who were real cool, mad chill. We're not on that type of energy, but it was too often for it to be just like a rare thing. So I I would never go back there. I would never go back to Bulgaria.
mm,
And I say that I got a homie who's Bulgarian. You know what I'm saying? So that really tells you I really don't, the country really didn't mess with me because I went there, with the best intentions. Um, I'm trying to think where else. Oh, Vietnam. That's another one. Again, I didn't feel uneasy or unsafe, but I felt unwelcome there. We're talking
mm,
about whether that was like, the dating apps, whether that was at the airport going through customs, whether that was my taxi driver. Like everybody didn't want me there. And again, nobody said it to my face, like go home, N word, but they don't have to say it if their actions show it. You know what I'm saying? So that those would be my three. So, to be
mm.
fair, I got one for every continent. We got Mauritius for Africa, got Vietnam for Asia, we got Bulgaria for Europe. So I think I covered everything as far as my worst countries.
Mm.
Actually, I'm planning to do it. I haven't done it, but I'm going to do like a top 5 or top 10. I don't know if I could even do 10 if I want to stretch the definition, but like
Mm.
the 10 most racist places for Black travelers. It might just be the top 7 because I may not even have 10, but I definitely got a couple. I already gave you like 3 of them. And I could go into details in that video where I really break down, step by step what happened and why I know it was not, oh, well, he was just an asshole. Like, no, he was being racist type shit.
Let's see. How would I answer that question? I would say the countries that where my antennas where I would say my antennas was up. Um, in Asia, I would say Philippines, outside of Manila. Manila, not too much Manila, but like going to Angeles City, dealing with Philippines have some very aggressive um also very aggressive men that really don't care too much about foreigners. You people done probably done heard, unfortunate stories that happen in Philippines with foreigners and in certain parts. But yeah, Philippines will be one outside of Manila. Let me just preface that. In Africa, I would have to say Ethiopia. Like I'm, what I mean, my antennas is up. It's a lot of nuances. This was the only country where, what I mean, where I got ran up on and my phone took it. You know what I mean? So, and I've been to a lot of places that's known for, people, being robbed or
Niceties.
theft, you know. So the fact that it happened to me, I mean, it made me, put me on alert. Like, it ain't sweet.
Can I add
Um,
something too? I just want to
go ahead.
piggyback on your story. Is they got me too. They got me in Ethiopia. So even though in the beginning of the stream I said a lot of good things about Ethiopia and Addis, you know, keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open. Keep your hands in your pockets and artists, please, because you don't want to be another casualty. Anybody can get it. And when I say that, I don't mean it was like a violent thing. Like I know his experience was different than mine. Mine, it was just like a smooth ass pickpocket who got mine. So I can't even really hate because I was slipping. You know what I'm saying? Out of all the countries I've been around the world, I got my phone snatched 3 different times, and it was never violent. It was always like a smooth criminal. Like the first one, it was in Bogota. Second one was in Addis, and the third one was in Namibia. So out of
Mm,
90 countries, only 3 times I lost a phone. Hey, I'll take that. It's not too bad.
man, man,
It hurts
man.
though. It does hurt. Hurts your pride a little bit. Yeah.
It does, man. I'm trying to think. Any country in Latin America that had me. I mean, Colombia. I mean,
They got me in Bogota, man.
got
It
you in
was a
Bogota.
crowded area. It was too many people around, and they was just smooth with it right in the afternoon. Yeah.
Mm. I'm trying to think of any places I felt uneasy and unsafe in Latin America. I mean, going to the 15, what was it, 15 cities in Brazil and 14 in Colombia. Like, I have went to places people was like, this is kind of dangerous, but it was something about Colombia that made me still feel comfortable. Maybe it was because it was an all black city, or um I've had enough experience in the country where where I felt like I would be, where I'd be
A
okay
target.
for the most part,
Yeah, like you wouldn't be
you
a
know.
target.
So I can't really, I can't really say uneasy in Latin America, but yeah, Ethiopia, the Philippines, I definitely only one city in Colombia where I kind of sensed it. And usually it's usually places where men have a high level of aggression. You know, that's usually the what I notice. Men that have if it's a place where men have a high level of aggression, those places some could pop off.
Right.
Um, Cigar Music Salute, man. He said, where's where's good place to find a wife? Man, man. Well, there's lonely epidemic in US. What's your thoughts on that, man? I gotta say, man, and I don't want to get into a rant, but when it comes to what I want, hopefully I could get people to look at marriage like this. Marriage is not about a location. It's about these three things. Well, two things, right? You got to look at marriage like this. A good wife is, are you looking for a good wife and you're non-religious, or are you looking for a good wife and you're religious? Because if you're looking, because both those categories, you have to look at different characteristics. Like a woman if you're not religious, and let's just say she's not religious, you're solely relying on her morals, right? Which can change. You know what I mean? So it's what I mean. So I can say a non-religious Colombia might be a good place to find a wife, right? What I mean, just due to the culture and environment, and not really having that strong Western influence, like other parts of Latin America. A non-religious woman, yeah, I would probably say Colombia. You could probably look at some Asian countries. Um, but if we're talking about religious woman, then I have to then it is a further question on where would I find a good Christian wife? Where would I be able to find a good Muslim wife? You know what I mean? So it can't be region specific, because what I realized being married and going on my journey, I realized that I probably could find a good wife in the US if I look at it how I'm looking at it now, you know. So that's the short end of that. You know what I mean? And my ex, she reached out to me randomly, which caught me off guard, but that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah. My
That's
take on it is I think at the end of the day, it's about compatibility because what I'm looking for isn't necessarily what you're looking for. And your personality isn't going to be my personality. So you really need to have somebody that matches with your personality. You might be an atheist, you know what I'm saying? I could give you the countries that I think the women have good religious values, and that might have you screaming and running, in the opposite direction because you ain't trying to step foot in the church ever, in life. Just to give you guys one extreme example, I could give you a couple places that I think are above average, but there is no safe bet. You know, at the end of the day, it's you and that woman. You know, forget the country she's from. Um, but if I said probability, where's more likely for somebody like me to find the kind of things I'm looking for in a woman for long term, it will be definitely more traditional places, places that have a high focus on the family and a high focus on religion and traditional things. So, off the top of my head, I would say Uganda. If it fits with your personality, I think you have an above average
Mm,
chance in a place like Uganda over a place like South Africa. Now, before y'all come at me, I'm talking about on average, you know, somebody who's very westernized, they want to have a hardworking wife, you know, then you're probably going to find that easier in South Africa, you know, because the job market is better and they're raised
right,
more liberal, you know, because every guy is not going to be, you know, as conservative as I am, you know, and I'm
right.
aware of that. But for me personally, if I had to pick, it would be probably somewhere in Uganda, somewhere in Ethiopia, um, maybe somewhere in Rwanda, not big city, like smaller areas. And then beyond that, man, we almost only left with Muslim countries. You know, if we're keeping it a
Mm-hmm.
hundred, you know, just for
Mm-hmm.
what I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? But I realize everybody's not like me. Um, so yeah, I would just say lean more on if you're looking for a stay-at-home wife type of a thing. There has to be some structure around that because that's not gonna last without a structure. It's got to have some type of religious structure. It's got to have some community structure around that. Don't just think it's just gonna it's just gonna work out. If that's not the norm, if that's something completely different from the majority, because women are going to be influenced by the majority culture that's around them. So if you take someone from whatever idealized country and you bring them back to Boston or New York or wherever, and they don't have that structure that existed that made that culture make sense, then you know you're setting yourself up for failure. But that's just how I look at it. I'm not a marriage coach or anything like that, so I'm gonna just leave it right there.
Yeah, man. It's yeah, right. You brought up a good point. I mean, she a good woman until you know, are you living in her country or you bringing her to the U.S.? Because then that's another dynamic in itself. You know, now it's like, okay, what woman can you bring to the U.S.? Then you know, then it's gonna turn into for me, it's gonna turn into a religious conversation. So all you know, I think you can find a good woman anywhere, which is cliche, but those kind of questions, I think those questions, if you're seeking for a wife, those are consultation questions. Like, you know what I mean? Because that's really specific to what you're
Individual
looking for,
specific,
who you
yeah,
are, you
exactly.
know,
Yeah, he could give
and
you
you
a quick
know,
answer, but it's not gonna scratch the surface for what you want, right? Because
exactly.
yeah, we're all different.
This is a broad question. I'll try to be brief. He said, "What's your thoughts on the male loneliness epidemic?" Um, I'll let you if you want to comment on it. I'll comment after you.
Yeah, I wasn't laughing at that. I was laughing at one of these comments, man. They got jokes and stuff in the chat.
Okay,
Said
I ain't
somebody look
seen
like
him yet.
Meek
I ain't seen
Mill.
him yet.
I don't know which one of us. So one of us look like Meek Mill. But anyway, man. On the male loneliness epidemic, I don't think it's U.S. specific. I think you'd be surprised because you know I've been blessed. I've probably been to over 12 countries this year, so in different regions of the world too. You know, whether we're talking North Africa, we're talking about Eastern Europe, we're talking about Asia, Africa, etc. And I think it's beyond just the states. I think in most developed countries, you are seeing this male loneliness epidemic, as you phrased it, um, which it's a lot of things. I think demographics are part of it. If you look at societies that are aging, divorce, you look at men not being able to keep up financially
situation.
in a lot of Western economies. And then just the fact that globally, we're spending a lot more time online, on our phones, away from family, away from community activities like church and other things that would bring people together in a natural way without doing it through a screen. Um, I, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. That's kind of the summary is that, yeah, unfortunately, this is the era that we're in, and as far as a group, it's not going anywhere. I think you need to focus on yourself. That's kind of what it comes down to. Focus on yourself, maybe your brothers, your cousins, people near to you, but um, everybody's got to figure out what works for them. If you're living in, a major city like I don't even know, in the West, then this is what it is. If you're not one of those selected guys, then it's not going to get easier. So, I mean, people can deal with that in different ways. Some people are like, self improvement, self improvement, self improvement. Um, or, as AMS used to say, on your purpose, get on your purpose, fellas. Stay on your purpose. The women to come, fellas. There's different schools of thought, and there's not one answer for everybody. Some people it is going to be get on your purpose and then the women will come. For other people, it'll be, you know, step your grooming up, step your gym up, and do more approaches, and the women will come. And then for some other people, it's going to be, let me travel somewhere that's more favorable for me, and operate from that perspective. And maybe that looks like bringing somebody back with them. Maybe it looks like taking more trips to whatever place they find works for them overseas. But I don't think there's one answer for that epidemic everywhere. It's just going to vary by the person.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I have to, yeah, yeah, phone call disrupted my
Oh,
flow.
did the stream get cut or we still on?
No, we good, we good. I had to
Okay.
refresh my screen. Damn, I lost some of the chat questions. Let me go here. Um, I wa- I wanted to say, damn, what was the question? What was the question? I lost the question.
The question was about the loneliness epidemic, and I gave my thoughts on it.
Okay, yeah. So there's a couple things. I think that there's pros and cons to it. I think that a lot less men have STDs, which is a good thing.
True.
So there is a silver lining in that. Um, I don't know if you guys heard it's a story about these two YT guys from Texas that was indicted for supposedly putting together a plot to take over this small island off
Oh,
of
saw it.
Haiti.
Yes.
And I don't want to get too much into details, but basically it was said that they want to delete all the men and enslave all the women and children for nefarious things. And to me, that highlighted in my opinion, sex deprivation a lot of men are going through, and their thoughts are going. Some people may not go to certain extremes, but there are people that are. It's having an effect on men.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that guys are doing. Some people are extreme. Gaming has filled in that void. um some guys have maybe deleted themselves. you know some guys have probably chosen alternative lifestyle. I mean, I've seen people that I grew up around and had issues with women. And you know I knew somebody personally. They moved to Atlanta Next thing I know, I see on their Facebook page they got you know rainbow flags. I'm like, damn.
Wow,
I'm like, is it that? I'm like, you can't be. Is
it's bad out
that
there,
bad out
man.
here, man?
Nah, it's never that bad.
But yeah, it is it is an issue is in the white community, in the black community, in Western societies. You know, something's gonna shake eventually, but I think the passport, I think getting your passport and exploring your options, I think that's that's step one to try to cure that loneliness.
Yeah, I hear you. Um, there was a question nobody asked you, but it was kind of related to the question about have you ever felt unsafe or uneasy overseas? And I know you're a well-traveled brother like me. Have you ever had any confrontations in any countries overseas? Like somebody about
Mm,
to get physical with you, or have you had to get physical with anybody?
the closest I can remember was in Colombia, and I was at this hotel, and so this hotel had served breakfast, right? And this one kind of, I would say, low budget hotel. They have free breakfast, right? But they gave like little ass portions of breakfast, right? So I must have asked them like, "Hey, can I get like some extra bacon or something that extra?" And that's like, "Okay, we're gonna have to charge you like maybe 2,000 pesos or something like that." So I was like, "All right, cool, you can
Like what, a
charge me."
dollar or more?
It,
That's more than
yeah, let's just say about $1. Let's just say equivalent to like a
okay, like a
dollar,
dollar. Okay.
$1.50. So I forget about what I mean. I'm like I didn't have the cash on me. I said when I check out, I'll pay. Pay. So I check out. I honestly forgot about it. This one dude was like sweating me about the. He like, oh, you got to pay for the thing. I'm just like, man, like y'all really sweat me over that. And I don't know what had happened, but basically I was trying to like put my luggage in the taxi, and he like tried to hold my luggage and I like pushed him. I'm like, man, get your hand off my luggage, man. And he just like, you know, when somebody can't fight back, they just get caught up. He's just like, I'm just like, you ain't finna do nothing. But then I still had to realize that I'm not in the US.
Yeah.
It could have went left if he knew some people or something like that. But that was the highest level of aggression I think I've got as far as like that I can remember. You know,
Okay. And he wasn't Afro Colombian, right? He was a
no, he
uh,
wasn't Afro Colombian.
okay, mestizo guy. Okay.
Yeah, come on,
Okay.
nigga, don't be grabbing, don't be trying to grab my
Man,
nigga.
man. I never had to, really get down with anybody, thank God. But similar to your story, something it's funny. We're coming back to Ethiopia again. After I said all that good stuff about Ethiopia, I still mess with y'all. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, there was a time I've had really bad experiences with Airbnb in Ethiopia. With
Mm,
the hotels have typically been pretty good quality, all over the country. But when I dealt with Airbnbs in Addis, something always goes wrong. Even it might not be the first day, but eventually something will go wrong. So this is the trip when I got my phone taken. This was my second trip, I think, in Ethiopia,
mm,
second or third. And so I didn't have a phone. That was bad business, but it was a couple days before I was leaving, so it wasn't the end of the world. I said I'll wait till I get to a new country and get a new phone, right? So, already, that's bad. And so I'm getting ready to leave. And similar to you, um, I'm getting my luggage and leaving. I have to leave. And so the Airbnb, the host, he wasn't in the country. He was communicating with some guy on the ground. And this guy, he was like nowhere to be found. I don't think I had his number. He would just like come and go kind of like whenever. Like I would say something to the main host who was in another country, I think in the States, and then the other guy he might show up a day later. I might be like, "Yo, there's an issue with XYZ," And so because of that, like we already didn't have the best relationship. But anyway, I'm leaving and I say to the guy, like, hey, checkout is, let's say, 11. And I say,
Mhm.
look, I'm going to, the guy is not here to take the key. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, I'm just going to leave it. Um, I'm just going to close the door and I'm going to leave it on the counter table or something like that. So I get my stuff and I'm getting ready to leave. Now I'm on the way to the airport. My plane is, about to leave in like 2 hours or something like that. And you got to get there early. So I'm
Mhm.
leaving. I'm in the parking lot. I called the cab to take me. I'm putting this stuff in the cab, and the way the apartment was set up, there was like a gate, so you couldn't get out of the gate unless the guard opened it up and let you outside of the gate. So I put my luggage in the thing, and I'm getting ready to leave, and I'm coming to the gate, and the security is kind of like, they kind of bullshitting, and they're like kind of not letting me leave, and I'm like, what's really going on? And they're like, well, where's the guy at? The guy on the ground who was supposed to take the keys from me. I'm like, look, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm like, I left the keys in the place. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, nah, like you can't leave until he's here. And I'm like, him being here is not my problem. Like we had a time to leave. Like y'all are not gonna make me miss my flight. And so, we going back and forth. I'm like, I'm about to push the security guard out the way. I'm telling the taxi guy, like, just drive. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not playing this game right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not losing like, damn near $1,000. I was heading back to the States, I
Right.
think. Yeah, so that's going on. And then all of a sudden the guy appears, and he's kind of hyped with me, like it's my fault. And I'm like, bro, like the time was 11 and you're not here. Like, I'm not gonna sit around here for the rest of the day. Like, I got shit to do. And so he kind of gets in my face a little bit. Like, I mean, he didn't do nothing, but he got in my face and he's like, nah, you can't leave. And I'm like, yeah, watch me. I was like, you're about to watch me leave. And so he's like, well, where's the keys? I'm like, they're inside. And he's like, don't let him leave until I check. And then he like runs up there and he checks and or whatever. And he's like, yeah, you can leave now. And I'm like, yeah, like I wish you would try and stop me. I was like, I really wish you would try and stop me. I was like, I will miss this flight if I have to, but you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel it too. I'm gonna feel it that I missed the flight, and you're gonna feel it. So yeah, thank God cooler has prevailed, and we were able to get up out of there. But it was turning into something. It was really
Man,
turning into
man.
something. It was tense. And then I got like one other story, but it wasn't in Africa. Um, but yeah, it's quite rare, very very rare that as black men from the States traveling, as long as you carry yourself like, you're not sweet, people aren't really going to try you like that. And, you just kind of confirmed what I thought anyway, that it's very rare, that those situations come up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I try to be very calm, man, because I can have a temper, so I just avoid stuff, man. I don't want nobody to take me there.
Right.
I
Yeah.
just
If you
want
can
to take
avoid the
me.
whole situation, it's better. It's better for everyone. Because once it gets to a certain level, it's like, it's no going back at that point, man.
Yeah, it's no going back, man. Yeah. I don't want to get deported from a country that I want to come back to.
That too. That's another thing, another consideration now. With a country like Mauritius, man, they could deport me. Like I'm never coming back. Yeah. It's the
No, I
worst thing
feel
y'all
you,
can
but
do. Y'all gonna ban me. Y'all gonna ban me for life. That's fine.
uh, a question. The Pathfinder's journey. What's the best experience both you guys had overseas and where? Um, I mean, that's a for me. If you got an answer right away, I gotta ponder a little bit because I mean I've
Yeah, that's
had
that's a tough one. He said the best. Like, you know, I got to go through, how many years of travel to find a best experience, man. I
not
would
to
say the most memorable is probably always your first trip. I think.
yeah
Well, depending if it went good or not. Like if it was horrible, then maybe that's not the most memorable. But like my first couple like trips outside the country were magical. That's the only word I can use, man. It was really magical. Like a switch flipped, or just like almost like, I hate to use the Matrix analogy because everyone uses it, but it's almost like you're like, okay, I thought I was living in the real world, but now I am living in the real world. Like, I was kind of a pioneer with DR, right? A lot of dudes, didn't really hear about DR for a long time. I went to DR, and I think it was 2005, the first time I went there,
Mm,
so you can imagine how many years I got in this travel game, right? Um, that was magical. The first time I went there, it was
mm,
just, and my Spanish wasn't even good like that, but being there, it got so much better because I didn't have a choice. Like, I didn't have Google Translate, I didn't have any of that stuff. And yeah, man, you had to get it out the trenches because there were no apps, there were nothing. Like, you need to be in the streets. If you was trying to take something home, you had to be out there, in the streets at nighttime, and hunting. You know what I'm saying? Just like a wolf. Like, you had to be out there. Like, oh man, the street parties were crazy. Like, forget the clubs, the street parties. I spent New Year's there. Man, the street
mm,
parties. The whole city was
mm,
out.
mm, mm,
Fireworks, everything you can imagine happening was happening. And you talking about taking back, light work, light work. And there were no
man, man.
Americans. There were no Americans around. Man, that was special. That's something I'll never forget. Um, and this is just in the capital. This is in Santo Domingo. But then when I went to like the northern part, like Cabarete, Sosua, man, I was like, this is a special place. And this travel thing is it. Like, I really need to see more of the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
Crazy.
that question is like that got to be broken down. Like, for me is like, what's your best travel experience in name that country, because I got epic moments in a lot of countries, but
Oh
I
yeah.
would say I would say overall, like, my best experience traveling was my Colombia run. Like, from my first time to Colombia to hitting my last city, like, out of all the countries I've been to, like, I showed out for Colombia. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Put your flag
either
in there.
yeah. I done been to more cities in Colombia than any YouTuber that you don't know. Like, I'll put everything into Colombia. You know what I mean? So I would say that experience alone is probably my best experience, doing that.
Yeah, for sure. You
Let's see.
guys should be harder in the future. Do you want to read this one? Yeah.
Yeah, do you guys foresee the dating aspect in Africa becoming harder in the future? I mean, it's hard now. Um,
I think
yeah,
everywhere is
neither.
getting harder. Everywhere is getting
Yeah,
harder. Yeah, because I mean, just demographics, technology, all this stuff. There's no place that's really off the map anymore, um, and that guys won't go to, especially if they think that they could find a better angle on the market. Um, and because of that, the market is going to respond and rebalance. I mean, if you study markets, and whether we're talking about money or whatever, it's inevitable. You're going to have those kind of changes. But I think comparatively, it's always going to be better in most places. In most places. Now, you might have some outliers or something like that. But yeah, generally, I think it's going to stay better than the West. Um, Now, how much better? That might be getting smaller every year. Because if anybody was in Africa 10 years ago and they're there now, um, I mean, you've seen things change. Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely, and not in a positive way. Not in a positive way. The infrastructure has gotten better. That's for sure. Um, but but yeah, as far as the dating scene, yeah, if you just showing up today, you're not going to get that same experience you would have gotten in the past. But if you actually live in these places and you speak the language and stuff, like if you're in TZ, Tanzania, and you speak Swahili, yeah, you're going to get a whole different um, experience than the guy who just got off the plane. And I think that goes. I think that's true for most African countries. That the deeper you get into them, you're going to find like way more value. You're going to find women you that just never interact with foreigners. You know, that
Mm.
would never be around the typical spots that guys go to. I think that's probably not just Africa. That's probably a lot of places that you really have to have more time on the ground, more contacts um, to get the better quality.
Yeah. I mean, I think based on the countries I've been to, I think dating is challenging in Kenya. Well, let's just say Nairobi. Um, dating, it's gonna be headaches.
Yeah,
Tan-
headaches. That's the right word.
Tanzania, I felt like it'll be challenging because a lot of chicks do play games. Uganda, Uganda. If I was just to really just be on dating and I'm serious, yeah, I could date in Uganda because I could, meeting women is not as challenging. Um, they tend to, you know, they tend to find a lot of us attractive. Um, yeah, so yeah, I would. I was in Uganda. Let's just say this: I couldn't meet all the people I wanted to meet. Like I just didn't have enough
Not
time.
enough
So
time.
you know, but
Yeah,
yeah, dating can be headaches in most of the world.
right. Yeah, the world is getting smaller. That's another thing too. As far as culture, so like if there's certain aspects of the Western culture that you're seeing on TikTok in the States, like they're seeing that same stuff any place you can think of in the world.
Let's see, the passport bros ruined DR. That's a question that annoys a lot of other content creators. I can't really quantify that because it'll be one argument that says that the percentage of brothers that travel to these countries are small compared to the other demographics of men that travel. Um, you know, it's just kind of hard to quantify that. We tend to be late finding stuff anyway. We tend to be on the downward slope of these places
Right.
anyway, so
Right.
it's hard to say. It's hard to say. Where did you go first to Colombia? Where did you first go? Yeah, I think Cali was my first city. Yeah, Cali was my first city, and then Medellin, Cartagena, and then many more after that. Favorite country in West Africa? I never been. Do you have a favorite country in West Africa?
Yeah, so I mean, by default, I won't say this is the best country or anything like that, but it's just the place that I spent the most time in West Africa, and that would be Cape Verde. That's where I spent the most time in West Africa. I was in Senegal as well, but I didn't spend a lot of time there. Unfortunately, I wanted to see more. The food is really good in Senegal, and people were hospitable. There is a language barrier in Senegal due to the French, and I don't think they get too many Black Americans coming through. Maybe they do. I didn't really run into any. Um, Cape Verde, yeah, you do have a language barrier as well, with it being Portuguese. But I spent more time there, so I mean, by default, I guess that's my favorite. I want to go back. I'll talk about that in some of the videos on the Patreon. Things I learned the second trip, and what I would be looking forward, and what my strategy would be for the third trip.
You never been to Gambia, have you?
Nah, I haven't been. It's right
Yeah,
next to Senegal, There used to actually be one country. It was Senegambia when it was a colony, and then they separated them. And I think traditionally, even before the colonization, I think just the tribes kind of moved between both places anyway, in Senegal and Gambia.
Pathfinder said, "No excuse. I'm surprised you haven't been to West Africa. Will you visit?" Um, if I could get the Nigerian visa while I'm in Ethiopia, I might consider going out there for a week. So once I kind of get settled, I'll kind of see what the visa requirements is if I'm not in the US, and see if I gotta turn in my passport for a certain amount of days. So I'm gonna look into it while I'm out here, but I'm not gonna like force I'm not gonna force it either.
Right. Yeah. That unfortunately, a lot of West African countries we need visas for, and some of them you can't get on arrival. Um, it kind of is what it is. Whereas, like, at least the Southern African countries, we can just pull up. Cape
Yeah.
Verde, Cape Verde, you can get it on arrival. Yeah, you can get it on arrival. Morocco, North Africa, you don't have to do anything. Tunisia too, and Egypt, it's just it's very
Yeah, I
smooth.
don't know. I don't know why West Africa like that, man. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
don't get it.
mean, I yeah. I mean, I could speculate, but yeah. I mean, hopefully. Well, I'll leave that for another video. I'll leave that for another video. I don't want to
Or
get too
even
far.
or even e-visas, but like the fact that you gotta like mail in your passport, and
Yeah,
like that's like for a tourist visa, that's crazy.
yeah. DRC too, like Central Africa. Everyone speaks about West, East, and North and South, but they forget about Central Africa, and almost no one goes to Central Africa. And I looked into it because from Rwanda, you know, from that lake city, you could cross right into the Congo. And I wanted to go to Congo, even though I know there's some conflict and stuff. This was before the conflict was hot. This was like I don't know 2022. I had wanted to go. I was going to go into the Congo, and then I found out that I couldn't do it. Like the girl I was with, she's Rwandan, and she could do it because she was interested. We were going to go just for like 2 days, just to say we went to the Congo because it was like a 10-minute walk almost to get into the
Mm,
Congo. But she could go, but as an American, you had to have your visa like way in advance. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't just pay, or I mean, maybe you could like shady pay, but then maybe you don't get the stamp or something. And I'm not going to risk that. But there was no legal way for you to just do it at the border. Um, and I think that's the case with a lot of them. And I looked online. Now Congo does have an e-visa, but it's ridiculous. I mean, it's something
yeah,
like 200. It's like $250 or something
yeah,
crazy
it's
like
not.
that. Like I've never in my life. I've been like I told you guys. I've been to like 90 countries. I've never in my life seen a visa that expensive for e-visa for single entry. This isn't even
Mhm.
for multiple things. It was like 200 or something crazy like that, and it was only for like 10 days. It wasn't even a full 30 days. I was like, nah, well, I don't need to go there that bad. Especially, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna even get the support on the channel to break even. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, nah, I don't need to go there that bad. Same with Djibouti. Like I said, I was so close to going to Djibouti, but I was just like, they want me to pay a visa to leave Ethiopia, then I'm coming right back. I gotta pay another one. I was like, nah, I'm not doing
Mm,
that. Um, that's why I've been to Botswana. That's why I've been to Lesotho. That's why I've been to Eswatini. It's not because I like those countries more. It's just because it's easier. Like I don't have to think. You just pull up to Lesotho, bam, no
mm.
questions. Pull up to Eswatini, bam, no questions. Botswana, bam, no questions. You know what I'm saying? Zambia is like that too. That's why, I wanted to, I was planning on it when I'm around that area again, just to say I seen it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think a lot of the reason a lot of us don't go there is because it's not as fluid. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true.
You need to really plan it. And like I said, Eritrea, same situation. If it was visa free, I probably would have been there twice already. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. So I'm gonna ask this kind of. This will be kind of like our final
Wrap up.
discussion. So,
Okay. Yeah.
um, it'll be kind of for both of us to answer. So, um, I kind of told you like what my like final three places that I would consider living, and I know you mentioned a couple countries as well. So, out the three, so I'm gonna give my opinion on what country I think you might consider better between, let's say, SA or Kenya.
Okay.
What do you think? What out of Kigali, Nairobi, and let's say Hawassa, what city do you think I'll be
Oh,
like? I can see myself living in. What based on
you
what you
said
you know about?
Nairobi, Kigali, and Hawassa. Okay, I thought you was gonna say Joburg. Okay, Nairobi, Kigali, and Hawassa. Which one do I think you
Yeah,
would like better
to live. Yeah.
to live? Since I know your religious background, I have to put that into that as well. Um, so because of that, I would honestly, I think, lean you more towards Hawassa.
Mm,
Honestly, I think I would. I mean, just the fact that you're actually speaking from Ethiopia right now shows that you have taken a lot of steps closer in that direction versus a year ago. Because I remember, a year ago, the conversations, and yeah, I mean, that would probably be my first pick for you. Um, yeah, especially if it's a full time thing. If it's not just for a visit, but for a long term, I think Hawassa, knowing your traditional beliefs, where you see the gender roles, I don't think that's going to really exist in Kenya. Keeping it 100 with you, even in certain select communities, I think it's kind of hard for them to not get a little bit polluted. So yeah, that's how I would look at it. And then maybe Kigali would be second.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 I will say this. My only the what I'm looking, what I'm looking out for is how safe I feel in Ethiopia. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
gonna determine, the
If it's
safety
feasible.
and housing options. Yeah. That's gonna
Yeah.
determine that Kigali and Nairobi, I just gotta be on the ground and just, feel the aura. I just gotta feel it, man. But uh for you, I
Man, I
think
like this question. I like this question.
huh?
Oh, well, it's not a question. It was a statement. Brother said below. He said, I see a lot of livable cities are basically a bring your own girl kind of situation. I'm curious what your thoughts on that are.
If we talking about Africa, a lot of livable cities, um it depends. Like I would want to bring my own girl to like Durban if I want to live in Durban, for example.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
I agree with that.
places where I wouldn't date the women, yeah, I would probably want to bring my own situation, you know.
Yeah.
But my theory is marry where you want to live. I said that, a couple streams ago, marry where you want to live. So um but yeah, but as far as you,
Hmm.
I was surprised that you really wanted to put effort into Johannesburg. I was surprised. I thought Kenya was it. I thought Kenya was it, and
Man,
so I'm curious. You know what I mean? I'm curious for you, and then I'm also not to bring him up, but I'm also watching Austin too because I don't believe in Southern Africa no more. So I think everything is going to go back to Kenya at the end of the day.
oh yeah, for him
So
for sure. For him, it's not even. I mean, he's just. I mean, I haven't been watching his latest stuff, so maybe he's had an epiphany. I'm not sure, but I think he's just dipping his toe in these other areas, but his heart and everything else is in Kenya, and I don't see that changing. I think he could visit. You know what I mean? I feel like he could visit another 30 countries in the world. I'm not just talking about Africa, in the whole world. I think he could visit 30 more countries, and I think he won't find another Kenya or some place that beats it. I don't
Yeah,
think he'll find a place that beats it.
it's just, it's affordable. You know what I mean? I don't know, I can't, I'm
It-
not counting his pockets, but at the end of the day, Kenya is going to
It's affordable,
stretch.
and it feels like home too. I'm sure for him, since he's already been there over 2 years, that he's not gonna find that instant community like he's got there now. And that's one of the hard things too. Is like the more you travel too, is like the higher the bar is for something you will almost settle for. It almost sounds like a woman, like, well, I'm used to this now. I ain't going backwards, child. You know what I'm saying? It's almost to that level when you're comparing countries. And there's no place that's going to be ready made like Kenya is set up for him in particular. Where his fame and everything else is going to translate immediately.
Yeah. I think it's kind of hard, man. I can see you liking Johannesburg, though. I can really see you liking Joburg. I can see you finding your stride there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's not super expensive where everything's expensive. You could find like high, medium, low in that whole metropolitan area, including Pretoria. The women are cool. There are some cool women there. Um, they do got cold winters if that if that's a
right.
factor for you. But I could see them being a tie. Like I'm just curious on where you gonna walk away with. What's your thoughts, or what are the key things you're looking at when you like compare Joburg to Nairobi?
Man, I mean, it's a great breakdown by you. Um, Primarily, well, I won't say primarily, but one of the first things that jumps out to me is I mean, as far as like the connections, as far as like their location strategically, they're both very good. I think they're comparable. They're very comparable. You got Joburg, it's the hub of Southern Africa, undisputed. You can't even come against that. Then you got Nairobi, it's a little more disputed, but overall, just for the size of the city and how important it is and how interconnected it is to the rest of the world, you really pretty much got to give it to Nairobi, and development, investment and stuff. But for me, I think I think the infrastructure, Joburg is going to win.
Mm,
Safety, Kenya's going to win. We
mm,
already know that, right? Those are kind of
mm,
givens. Like I said, as far as like being connected to the world, they're both about a tie. South Africa is slightly better, I think, slightly. Um, Women, I think almost that's kind of what it's going to come down to. I mean, when it comes to housing, I look at housing too, right? So when it
mm,
comes to housing, I'm looking at like if I was to buy a condo or something, it's kind of comparable. Joburg to Kenya. I think you can find really good deals still in Joburg. You can find really good deals still in Kenya, even though both markets are rising, especially Nairobi. The market is really rising. Um, so yeah, to find a tiebreaker, I think the only thing that would be a tiebreaker is women. I mean, honestly,
mm,
because like I said, most of the other stuff is close to a tie. I mean, things are more comfortable and maybe a little bit more consistent in SA. But then the flip side of that is you got the culture, you got the zestiness, you got all the other, undesirable influences from outside of Africa that come
mm,
there, which they're in effect in Kenya, but much lesser, much lesser. So yeah, the only real tiebreaker is gonna be the women, and that's not saying that I'm just focused on the women, but it's like, what else are you gonna use? We use the infrastructure, I mean, the cost of living is probably comparable if you're doing like 6 months, 12 years. I mean, 12 months or 6 months stay. So really, the only difference I think would be the women. I think in Kenya, you're gonna have more of a variety of African women, or
mm,
yeah, more flavors of Africa are going to be in
mm,
Kenya. But I think what's native, what grows, from the soil in South Africa is probably more diverse than what grows from the soil in Kenya. So again, that's almost a tiebreaker because it's like, okay, you got more diverse locals in South Africa, but then you got more diverse like from all over Africa and Kenya. So yeah, I mean, I really have to be on the ground this second time to come to a decision. You feel me? That's really the only way it'd be right.
Salute to HB Gone Global, man. What up, what up, what up, man?
What up?
But yeah, man. Yeah, man. Good discussion, man. Good
Yeah,
discussion, man. Tried to cover a lot, man.
yeah. We went through a lot, man. We had the lights out over here. Lights came back, went out again, came back. But we got through it, man. So yeah, we'll have to do an update once I have touchdown out there in South Africa again.
Yes, sir. HB, so I'll be out this Sunday, man. Which country you hit? Which country you landing in first, HB? SA, TZ. Yeah, HB gonna be out in Africa, man. I'm trying to think who else out there. TZ. Yeah, Check is in Africa. I missed him.
Okay.
I'm trying
Where's
to think
Check at?
who else. I
Or
don't
you
know
not
where he
sure?
at now.
He
You know
moved.
what I
He moves
mean?
too quick, huh?
I don't know where he at now.
Yeah.
But damn, I know some other people gonna come out here too. But yeah, man. Yeah, we're definitely gonna make sure we link in SA. Um, I plan on being in Africa probably until send out here. I definitely plan on being in Africa until Easter. That's the plan, and keep you guys posted, man. Keep you guys posted, man. So yeah, I'm gonna make sure I put your channel in the link just so people can just hit the link and get access to it. But yeah, let people know what to expect on the channel in the near future, and then send me your Patreon too. I'll post it in the description as well.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So yeah, new videos dropping all the time on the Patreon. That's patreon.com/jfocused. Easy. You guys will get a couple videos here and there on the YouTube, but I'm not really focused on that one that much. Consultations are still open. You guys can hit me on IG for that, or on the Patreon as well. You can send me a direct message and we can set that up, man. So yeah, like that, we out of here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Peace out.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. Got the flight book, it's a library. I'm in a deal. Just took a flight to Bora and foreign cars like foreigners. Berry on her. Up in France, bitch, bonjour. I been come to go so we going Paris tomorrow. Only Paris some carrots, spin at the mall. We doing singing along. My diamonds be saying, add some more change. That's the same alone. Dripping all the way from home and taking the wrong. Got the flight book, it's a library. We ain't flying solo. Tune in to the show. It's the Passport Bros. No excuse entertainment. Jay Slay on the show. Turn it up some more. It's the Passport Bros.